Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and this is the Press Circle to Pain podcast, where we put down our controllers and we decide to rot our brains even more by delving into the world of wrestling. It's episode 3, WWE Roadblock. I'm your host, CaptainTurbo. Joining me once again is Thunder.
And I'm his trusty sidekick, I suppose.
My trusty co-host, Canadian buddy.
Yes, correct.
Alright, so obviously last time we mentioned that we were going to jump straight into WrestleMania for episode 3, but then WWE announced WWE Roadblock, which is a WWE Network exclusive special, for lack of a better word. It's not a pay-per-view.
A WWE Network exclusive that happened in my home country, Canada, in Toronto, at the Ricoh Coliseum, which isn't actually that big. It can only...
it didn't look that big.
No, it can only hold up to a WWE event in 2013 did draw the highest attendance it ever got at the Coliseum. That was only just over 10,000. Just over 10,000. It's really short. It's a really small place. If they were to go to somewhere like the Air Canada Centre, for example, they probably could have gotten at least an additional 5,000 to 7,000 more people.
Joe, I'm going to say it right now, the look of tonight, we're not going to get onto the pay-per-view right now because Fonda wants to go address something first, but the look of the pay-per-view and the fact that it was in a smaller stadium that was packed out looked better than empty arenas.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, like it was probably around 8,000 to 9,000 people, I'm going to guess, whereas the Air Canada Centre, if you really stretch it out, it can fit around 20,000, so it's like, you could, if they should have just gone there if they wanted more people, could have doubled the attendance.
Yeah, probably.
But, oh well, for all I know, the Air Canada Centre may have been used for something else, I'm not sure.
Oh, well, fair enough. Anyway, we're going to get onto the Roadblock review in a few minutes. You want to address something first, if I recall.
Well, I just like to do the kind of news stuff every now and then. I don't usually have a lot to say because, I should be admittedly paying a little more attention to it, but, it is what it is, I guess. And,
go ahead.
What I am going to mention is that there actually is a rumor going around that it won't just be Wade Barrett who may be departing the WWE pretty soon. It's rumor, Brian and Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Newsletter are reporting that there's a word around within the WWE going on that there may be another star that's going to be giving their ahead of notice that they're going to be leaving the company, but it's not yet mentioned on who it's going to be. So for all we know, it could just be something that leads to nothing.
It could just be a nobody that's maybe had a couple tryout matches or something.
Yeah, and so that's just the one thing I want to point out. But another thing is of course, we have the WWE Hall of Fame that they do around WrestleMania time, and
I forgot about this. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, they've had 4 inductees so far. They've had, of course, Sting. They have the Godfather. They have the Fabulous Freebirds, and the Big Boss Man are all going in here. And literally, they just announced it today. Joining them in WWE, a fellow Texan, female wrestler Jacqueline, who wrestled during the good peak of the Attitude Era, and was quite successful because she was a pretty good wrestler, and I think she was at least more than once the women's championship. I think maybe I want to say maybe she held it twice. Yes, in fact, yeah, she held the women's championship twice, and even had a reign as the cruiserweight champion.
I'm pretty sure she won the hardcore belt at one point.
I'm just looking at what it's listed here, but she's basically a 2-time women's champion, 1-time cruiserweight champion. She was also a 14-time United States Wrestling Association women's champion, which is a lot of times. And this was before she had joined the WWF in the late 90s, although she did have a run from 93 to 94, but although it wasn't very long.
Jacqueline always reminded me, because back when she was, back in 98, 99, she was obviously very talented, but she had all these crappy women wrestlers like Sable and, who else? The Cat and all that. So she never really managed to put on many good matches. If she'd have been... She's like Natalya was for a while. Natalya's a fantastic wrestler, but, she had people like the fucking Bellers and fucking, the Funkosauruses, Dactyls, or whatever they were called. I can't remember the name.
An interesting thing to note, too, is Jacqueline's first reign as a women's champion was actually which was on September 15th, 1998, on an episode of Raw.
Yeah, I remember.
She was the first. She was the first champion to like. She was the first women's
Since Alundra
champion when the
Blaze,
belt.
wasn't she?
Yeah, when the
Yeah.
belt was reactivated, when Alundra Blaze left for WCW, and famously threw the title in the trash on Nitro.
Yeah. The only reason they gave her that belt was because they were planning to put it on Sable, who we were trying to build up as the main female wrestler at the time.
Yeah, they eventually. Jacqueline did defeat Sable for the title, but a couple months later, Sable did win the title and held it for quite a bit of time. But yeah,
The less said about that, the better.
yeah, there was not. But yeah, there admittedly was not a lot of great wrestlers for her time. I mean, there were a couple like.
No, Jacqueline
there
was good, and Luna Vachon was pretty good as well.
Yeah, there was a couple of them. Like she wasn't just her. There was. I remember Ivory was all right, and there was of course, Lita was about to come up around this time as well,
But
and then China was still an active wrestler.
But at the same time, you had like all the bad ones, like you had Sable and Tori, and like I said, Kat, and then BB and all that.
There was also, I think Deborah was also.
Oh God,
wrestler.
Deborah was the fucking champion, and she didn't do a damn thing. It was
She only held it. She only held it for about a month.
the only reason she got that way is it was I think it was like an evening gown match or something, and Shawn Michaels came out. She lost the match, but he says, "I think the winner should be the one who's stripped of her clothing." So that's how she won the fucking women's championship.
Yeah, you're actually correct. She had lost to Sable, but Commissioner Shawn Michaels stated that Deborah was the winner because she had lost her dress and awarded the championship to her. So.
And needless to say, though, we've gone off topic here as well already.
Yes, but anyways.
Jacqueline was very good for a time. Probably would have done better if she'd have had more female wrestlers to work with.
Do you have any, I guess before we quickly go into it, do you have anything else to say about any of the other Hall of Fames, or do you want to just leave that for later?
I've never really seen the Fabulous Freebirds. I've only seen a couple matches from Sting, but obviously, him going in doesn't surprise me. Godfather kind of surprises me. Not that he was a bad wrestler, but I don't know. It just seems a little odd. The Big Boss Man, yeah, I could see that happening. And to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised he wasn't already in.
Yeah, Boss Man, I'm glad that they're doing it because he had a very he was with the company for a long time.
He was with them back in the late '80s, early '90s. Then he left for WCW, then came back again
for the late '90s to early 2000s. Yeah, he had
away.
Quite a number of years, and he was very well liked backstage, and for his size, he could perform. He was a pretty good wrestler for what he could do.
That guy took off a lot of weight from the early '90s to the late '90s. He slimmed down. He looked half the man he was, and he looked a lot better for it, actually.
Yeah, even back then, he wasn't a bad wrestler. But anyways, let's not try to get too off topic here.
Yeah, we're already 10 minutes in.
Yes. So anyways, WWE Roadblock, which was pretty much a curveball to any of us because we all expected after Fastlane to just go straight to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't think Roadblock had been announced when we did the episode 2 had it.
No.
I don't think it did.
One thing I will mention very quickly about Roadblock getting into it was that there were 2 dark matches that took place.
I didn't see either of those.
Yeah, because they weren't shown, but. Right. Pretty much to just quickly go over them. Mark Henry in 3 minutes 35 defeated someone called Randy Sharp, who I'm guessing is like maybe a local talent,
probably,
something like that. I have no.
It doesn't really sound anything too interesting.
I mean, he's the same name as like a 3-time Grammy Award like musician, but I don't think it's the same person. So
very doubtful.
And then the second dark match was Goldust defeating Victor from the Ascension, who had Connor by his side, which is pretty much.
I can't believe they didn't put that on. I would have paid to see the fucking match.
I know, right? That
Sarcasm alert.
Such a disappointment.
But as you said, those are the dark matches. They don't really matter.
No, they're just something that they're just put on for people who actually got the chance to go live.
Yeah, well, anyway, the WWE Roadblock opens with a nice promo package, mostly featuring the Triple H Dean Ambrose match.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job with opening up the promo, but they were really pushing the fact that it was in Canada. Like they were really just showing a lot of things of, this is taking place in the Great White North.
And it was, as I already mentioned earlier, I thought the set was actually really nice. It was so nice to see something different other than the HD set that they've got.
Yeah, that's the one thing I kind of miss about some of the older pay-per-views. I can
Mm.
understand why they don't do it because it can probably get more costly, and just have a simple thing to work on just saves a lot of hassle. But
I'm surprised they put
it
more effort in, considering it was only a network special, not an actual
yeah,
pay per view.
the thing was with having those sets were really nice. They added more character to the pay-per-view, so it made it feel quite special.
Unique
And
instead of just another pay per view.
yeah, the fact that they don't really do that anymore unless it's one of the bigger pay-per-views like WrestleMania or SummerSlam
I
is
don't
kind
even
of
think did they
disappointing.
even do anything for the Royal Rumble this year? I can't remember.
I don't honestly think they did.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think the only two times they really do it nowadays is like for fucking WrestleMania or SummerSlam, as you said.
Yeah, they're like their two biggest pay-per-views is really all they when they do it, which is
And they
kind of
get
disappointing.
and they get really fucking lazy. Like with Money in the Bank, all they'll do is set up a bunch of ladders down the ramp.
Mm.
They don't change anything else. Anyway, we'll get on to the fucking pay per view now. Match number one is the Tag Team Championship match: The New Day versus the League of Nations. More specifically, Sheamus and Wade Barrett.
And the New Day coming out here,
Oh, fucking hilarious!
they were so over with the crowd. Like just the crowd was hot for them as soon as they did their little Toronto or whatever.
To be fair, the crowd were hot for most of the night. I'd say at least 90% of the night they were fucking loud.
Oh yeah, if they were in like Air Canada Center, if or instead of like the Rico Coliseum, they'd be so loud. Like Toronto, like Canada crowds are usually quite energetic, especially if it goes to like Toronto or Montreal or Calgary or whatnot.
It's the same anywhere. When WWE go anywhere internationally, they get a fucking huge pop. I mean, you come to England, they get a huge pop. They go to Canada, they get a huge pop. It's because we don't, not neither of us get much in terms of actual content these days that's recorded anyway. For our
No,
live television and stuff. So it's a nice treat, and the crowd will at least make a lot of noise for that.
but yeah, Canada was definitely Toronto specifically was quite. I can't even speak. Was quite huge into the New Day. Do it when they're doing the New Day chant. It was clearly New Day rocks. I didn't hear any time when it was the New Day sucks. They definitely were very huge for them. And of course, there was a disappointment that of course it was still no more Ronaldo. We're still stuck with of course the Three Stooges of Raw on the commentary
Oh,
team.
JBL, Michael Cole, and Brian Saxton, something like that. I can't
Yep,
remember his name.
JBL, Sexton, and Maggle.
To be fair though, who the fucking else is there, to be honest, who can actually do a good job?
Mauro Ranallo. That's why I mentioned him. He's
Fair
actually
enough.
pretty good. Like
Anyway,
he's the closest thing we've gotten to JR since. I mean, he's not the next JR. But he's
he's
very
good. You
good for
mean?
what he is.
I don't. Is he the NXT announcer or something?
Ah, God, I wish, but no, Mauro is the main commentator for SmackDown.
Alright, I actually haven't watched SmackDown in years, so I'll have to check it out. But
Yeah, the
actually,
SmackDown commentary team is currently Mauro Ranallo, Byron Saxton, and a heel Jerry Lawler.
that actually sounds better than this.
Pretty much.
Anyway, my first note here is the Booty-O cereal box.
That, see, here's the thing with the
And
New
the
Day.
box looks racist.
I didn't actually put that down, but the whole I put here, yes, they unveil an actual box, and it looked hilarious. I was like, oh my god, they're not just saying it, they actually have it in physical form, and I was like, wow,
It's probably just the box. There's nothing, no actual cereal inside it, but
possibly. But yeah, it was really great. They when you give the New Day the chance to really pull out all their stops for their comedy, they can really hit it very well. And not tonight, Saturday night with Roadblock was definitely one of those times where they were on their A game.
yeah, Big E got on he's got on his knees at one point and started doing a high pitched voice like a little kid and talking about cereal and said, "I don't want to be boring like Del Rio." That got me fucking laughing my ass off.
Just the way they were taunting the League of Nations was just great.
It was fantastic. He says something like boring like Del Rio, something about Barrett, and looking stupid like Sheamus. I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah. And then, yeah, basically it was just a whole bunch of that, and they're just going on, and they're of course they're doing the whole New Day Rocks thing, and as they're doing that, Barrett and Sheamus both come out
And
and
immediate
move.
"you look stupid" chant.
Yeah, immediate heel heat, immediate you look stupid chance.
Seriously, he needs to change that fucking look. And yeah,
Definitely.
we had all that, and I've actually just put here match finally starts.
Yes.
And my first note is just the fact that the New Day starts with full control of the match.
They're pretty much making a mockery of the match early on, too.
Yeah, you had like them running around outside and stuff. They were actually very entertaining, to be fair.
Yeah, it was pretty good for what we were given.
My next note is the fact that there's a wind of change from Barrett, and then Sheamus not long after that gets the Irish Curse.
But it only gets a pin attempt, but kick out at 1.
Yep. Then Sheamus does a pretty big shoulder tackle from the top rope to Kofi, which is some I've never seen him do before.
I don't remember seeing that much either, to be honest. So maybe I'm just blind.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will correct. Maybe if one of these very rare people who watch our stuff will perhaps tell us.
Hey, we got our first legit subscriber the other day, so
Hey,
hey, we're finally on our way.
we're, we're finally one subscriber more famous.
Anyway, Sheamus goes to the top rope again, but this time's countered by a drop kick from Kofi. Actually, looked really nice.
It was a very good moment.
From this, I think Kofi manages to finally get some momentum, tags in Big E, who comes in and cleans house for a little while.
There's one point where Big E gets tagged in, and they got I think it was Barrett that they had in the corner. They're just kicking him at the corner, and they were just going back and forth. Like Big E would do the kicks, tagging Kofi. Kofi would do the kicks, tagging Big E, and it would just go back and forth and back and forth. And it was, of course, there's Xavier just going crazy. And there's like one time where there was like a build up kick or whatever, and you hear Xavier on the trombone going,
Xavier's fucking, he's fantastic. Whether he's in the ring or just being outside doing his own thing, he's fucking hilarious.
It's just a thing with all three of them. They have so much personality, but Xavier, in my opinion, is the best of the three.
I think he brings out the best in those two as well.
Yeah, he's pretty much the big driving force of the group, honestly.
A flying crossbody for a 2 count by Kofi a little bit later on. And then some back and forth for a while, and then Sheamus manages to lock in the cloverleaf.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on Kofi. I should know this. I watched the match. I watched the fucking pay-per-view less than a couple hours ago. I should remember this, but I've got a fucking terrible memory.
Yeah, same here. Like, there's basically sections where they get some good moves in, and there's a Kofi hitting the drop kick, Sheamus jumping the top rope, Big E gets the momentum.
Yeah, we basically just
Sheamus, and Big E at one point knocks off Sheamus off the ring, but Barrett gets a suplex to take advantage, but Big E just kicks out at 1, so not much to that. And then there's a section where both wrestlers tagged in their partners, and Kofi just came in, and he seriously looked like he was performing some kind of acrobatic show.
Well, it's Kofi Kingston. What do you expect?
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, I'll let you talk since I don't mean to keep interrupting or anything.
Right. 1 second. Oh yeah. I'm just chatting with one of my friends. So, yeah, Sheamus had the cloverleaf locked in, and I think Kofi reversed it into the SOS.
Yeah, he counter out and hits the SOS, and then gets the tag onto Big E. And I think at this point I mentioned pretty much the League of Boring recovers.
Sort of. My next note is the fact that there's a sort of botch. The big ending was by Big E was counted, and Kofi kind of jumps off the top rope, but kind of just tumbles over and falls onto. I think it was which one was it he fell onto? I think it was Sheamus. It didn't look like it was meant to happen that way.
Yeah, it's possible, but like Barrett gets. I'm trying to remember what he did to try to go for the pin. I'm trying to remember what.
Who?
Barrett. He's pinning, I think, Big E.
Oh, he basically just did like a big kick to his head or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's it. The kick to the head. He tries to go for the pin, but the referee gets distracted by Xavier at the ringside, and basically Sheamus sees it and goes running right after him and going around the ring, which was basically a setup trap for Kofi to hit him, I think, with the Trouble in Paradise or something.
No, it was Big E that got the his finisher on Barrett.
No, I'm talking about like outside the ring with
Oh,
Kofi and
outside the ring.
Sheamus.
Okay.
I think I can't remember. It may have been Trouble in Paradise, may have been something else.
Well, it was probably that.
But yeah, and then basically Big E takes the advantage to get the big ending on Barrett, gets the 3 count, and the New Day continue to retain and they've been champions for quite a while now.
Didn't they say something like 200 days, or was that for the NXT Tag Team Championship? I can't remember.
I don't think that was for that was for that.
It has to be this then. When I think it was one of the commentators said it was
I'll
over
quickly
200.
look it up just now. Yeah, the New Day has held the title since August 23rd, 2015. So they've had it for about 204 plus days at the time of recording this.
Yeah, it
so
has to be. It had to be this match that they announced it as.
that means they actually rank 5th overall for all tag teams.
Really? Only for 200 days?
In total, they had another ring earlier in April, which lasted for 49 days, then lost it to the primetime players, then got it back from them. So they have, in total right now, they have 253 days. And, of course, they're probably going to hold it maybe until WrestleMania or maybe even past that.
Who would even take it away from them at WrestleMania? I think they're going to hold it for a little bit longer than that, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, all they got to do is 5 days from now, which they'll easily hit. By the time they hit the 258th day, they will move into 4th place to pass the Usos for combined days, like how long they've been the champion. Just behind the Colognes, Eminem, and Paul London and Brian Kendrick, who had the longest reign of throughout the championship's history.
They had it a good year, if I remember correctly.
331 days.
Yeah, nearly a year anyway.
Yep. Anyways,
that was overall pretty good match, I thought.
Yeah, it was. I had no complaints. I thought it was a pretty good way to open up the show.
Yeah, I think the New Day are actually really good for opening shows. They entertain the crowd, so they're good.
I would say one thing I want to point out is what I thought was interesting. Like, I never realized Toronto thought that Barrett couldn't wrestle because they were chanting "You can't wrestle."
I wondered who they were chanting that to because I couldn't understand.
Yeah, they were chanting "You can't wrestle" to Barrett. I was thinking, I mean, he's not the greatest wrestler, but he can at least wrestle.
Fucking better than a lot of people they've got employed there.
But yeah, although I will say this, the New Day pretty much were the main driving force behind that match.
No question about it.
But I'd say out of 10, I would have given it like a 7, probably.
And that's Thunder's rating for this match. I just put here a decent match. And New Day were very entertaining as always.
Yeah.
Second part, we've got a segment, and I've got to ask, who the fuck is this guy with the weird hair?
I have no idea. I was thinking the same thing. I wrote it down, thinking, who is this person introducing Paul Heyman?
With the fucking mop head.
Yeah, and of course, when Heyman comes in, you expect him to take the center stage, which he did, and he really put Toronto over. Like he came off as like a huge baby face in this. Like he was really putting the city over and like calling it the new home for Suplex City even, and
which surprises me because with the WrestleMania match between Lesnar and Ambrose, I thought they'd play him up more as a heel again, but apparently not.
That's which is making me believe, which we'll go into later. I think that there may be a change of plans. I have no idea, but we'll see what happens. I guess.
I've got here. It was okay, but it was a typical Heyman segment.
He put it over, and there was one thing I want to point out because me being Canadian and being very used to this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. There's at one point he puts a mention to Bray Wyatt that he should just go join the Miami Heat and get beat by the Toronto Raptors. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Toronto Raptors is the only Canadian National Basketball Association team or NBA team, and of course, since we're in Toronto, the crowd pops for that, and
it's like a Mick Foley, what do you call it? Promo where he just says, "Right here in Soto."
Yeah, his cheap pops.
Yeah, the cheap pops. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, he was but basically, usual stuff from Heyman, but he was very huge with Toronto. So the fact that they're treating him like a face here makes me think there may be some differences, but we'll get into that later on why I say that.
Yeah, like I say, I thought it was okay, but it's nothing you haven't seen Heyman do before.
Just after this promo, I should have mentioned that I actually went to get myself some popcorn since it was a Saturday night rather than Sunday, because I was, just wanted.
So I'm guessing you missed a little bit then.
I missed a little bit, not too much though, because when I came back, it was coming to last Thursday night with Jericho burning the Y2 AJ shirt.
You only missed then was the promo, which to be honest, this confused me because it was showing a promo for a package between Y2J and AJ Styles, but that wasn't the match that was on, so I didn't
Weird.
write any notes down because which good segue into our second match here: Chris Jericho versus Jack Swagger of all people.
Yeah, they didn't really think this one over very well, but
Yeah,
Jericho,
I just
no,
want to. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. It's just like we said. We just said that Y2J versus Jack Swagger. I actually wrote down because of the promo package. All right, match two, Y2J versus AJ Styles. Wait,
yeah.
what's going on? Why is Jack Swagger coming out?
That's what I was thinking. Like, what's the point of having these two face each other? Like, it makes me feel like they're running out of things for Jack Swagger to do, I suppose.
The guy's had no relevance since the WrestleMania where he lost to Del Rio.
Pretty much, but yeah,
But anyway, Chris comes.
Jericho did. Oh, sorry. If you're about to go into that,
I was
I'll
actually
let you.
just gonna say Chris Jericho comes out and cuts a very good heel promo, basically going on about how Canada's shit and everything, which I actually felt was quite stupid, really, considering he himself is Canadian. He was saying all Canadians are stupid and all that, and I'm thinking
Like
you're
he's
Canadian
saying that
yourself.
Canadians are behind the rest of the world. I mean, but he does bring up though, because you mentioned that, he does say at one point that he admits that he's ashamed to be Canadian.
It's like though he had to put that in because the way he was talking is if he was like talking about the Canadian people and not the actual country itself. So it kind of made him look stupid by just association, I guess.
There was one line that he pointed out that I wrote down because it just kind of like to kind of show like what he was thinking about Canada. He's like, the line I think goes, "I moved because Canada stinks, and Toronto's the anus."
Yeah, yeah, I do actually remember that. But before that, he was going about the greatest Canadian icons, and then the crowd started chanting, "We want Brett."
Yeah,
And then he
and he's
says, "You're
mentioning
never gonna get Brett ever again."
and he's mentioning how they all moved and why he moved, and yada yada yada, and he actually was getting something you don't usually hear nowadays because of the current product, the asshole chants.
Yeah, I noticed that. Usually reserved for Vince McMahon.
Yeah, but they gave it to Jericho here.
And then
But he's
that.
basically
Sorry.
teasing the crowd to continue chanting the flavor of the month, and for some reason, what led to Jack Swagger was he was bringing him up and basically was burying him.
Oh yeah, I
And
was got here. He was ripping on Jack Swagger something fierce.
like, he was like, "Remember when Jack Swagger was the flavor of the month?" And the crowd just instantly booed when he said that, because I don't remember Jack Swagger ever being the flavor of the month, even when he was they
Yeah,
gave him that really awful reign as the champion.
I don't
Like,
know
no,
why they put the fucking belt on. They maybe give him. Had the guy even won a mid card title by that point? And I'm not counting the ECW World Championship.
um,
Had he been US or Intercontinental Champion at any point?
I think he did have a mid-tier championship before that, but I don't remember what it was. I'd have to quickly look up. I'm sure it was something. Though.
I'll have a look while you're talking.
I'm thinking it was probably, though, the United States Championship.
Probably, but if it was, it wasn't memorable.
No, he's not memorable to begin with. So
He's actually a decent in-ring wrestler. He's
yeah,
got
he's a
no
good wrestler.
fucking.
He's a decent wrestler. He's just not that memorable.
Exactly, fucking.
Okay, no, okay,
Yeah,
no,
one-time United States Championship.
No, he just had the ECW Championship, then just went straight to the World Heavyweight
No,
Championship.
I've got up here WWE United States Championship.
Yeah, but he won the championship in 2010. The U.S. Championship ring was in 2012.
Oh, he won it afterwards? Fuck.
Yeah, the only championship he had before that was the ECW Championship in '09.
Yeah, let's not count that.
Yeah, that doesn't really count anymore.
Yeah, anyway, he's ripping Chris Jericho ripping on Jack Swagger for
Just
what felt like
burying him.
like for a good minute and a half, and then finally out comes Captain America himself.
Yeah, no one cared for the guy. I mean, even, the only thing they got mentioned was the "We the People" chant, which is of course only because the crowd likes to follow
Yeah.
things like that.
I'm gonna be
And
honest, I've heard it plenty of times before. I still love Jack Swagger's music though.
yeah, he's got good music. The one thing that really bugged me about him coming out, though, is this is a Canadian pay-per-view. Not a pay-per-view. It's a Canadian event, and they just decide, we're just still going to show his video package anyway, even though it blatantly shows the flag of the United States of America on it.
I know. It reminds me of what they did one time. They came over to England. In fact, I think it was here in Sheffield, actually, in my hometown. They came here. They did like an episode of Raw, and then they did a opening of tribute to the troops, but it was for the American troops.
Mm-hmm.
That did not go down well.
Gee, I wonder why.
You know, it's fine to be patriotic, but when you go to someone... They're basically acting like they've given the character of Rusev there. You know, we come to your country and we pretend our country is so much better than yours, type of thing.
Kind of like reminds me of that when they were doing the guest hosting at 2009. They had Sergeant Slaughter as the guest host, and they were in Calgary, and they literally just have him like telling everyone to salute the Canadian flag, and it's up on the Titan shot, and then it fades in like a no Canada thing. Like he was basically making fun of Canada, how America was so much better. It's like, yeah, that's
was he
just
playing
silly.
this as a face or a heel?
He was a heel for that night only, apparently.
You can do that if you're playing the heel, but this was not like it was a heel face thing. This was just something they played before this the show even started.
Yeah, but anyways,
anyway, let's get back to the Y2J Swagger match. We have a tendency to go off topic quite a lot.
The match, for the most part, wasn't very memorable, so I don't have a lot of moves.
I do have some. So
please go ahead and tell us.
All right, so the match starts and Swagger takes early control, basically like headlock stuff like that. I actually had some decent mat wrestling. Chris eventually gets out of the ring and a chase ensues, basically.
There's somewhere around the earlier part, there's like it cuts to him like his reaction to something, like his facial reaction to something. I was like, what is he doing?
I don't fucking know. Anyway, an AJ Styles chant does break out not long after this. And Chris basically throws Swagger straight into the barricade.
Yeah, he just just threw him right to there.
Mm-hmm. We get back in the ring. Jericho takes control and has a pretty long sleeper on Jack Swagger, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there's a lot of much of the match was just Jericho like working over Swagger, which didn't make any surprises.
Much, yeah. Yeah. A nice drop kick for a 2 count by Chris Jericho. After that, CM Punk chant starts.
I was about to say that before you just mentioned it. I was about to say, like, we're in 2016. We're about 2 years removed from this, and this has nothing to do with him. So I'm thinking, why are they chanting CM Punk?
Maybe because, number one, they're bored, but they don't want to be quiet, and 2, people might miss Punk.
Yes, but I was just thinking, come on, Toronto, don't do this.
Oh, I love it when they start chanting for Punk. I fucking love it. I love it when every crowd chants for Punk.
You're one of those guys, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I can't really fault you. I mean, you know, but I just look at it as they should really just move on.
Oh, no, you never move on. Make WWE pay. And pay big time.
Pay them. Pay him for misdiagnosing a staph infection that nearly killed him. That'll show them.
You're fired.
Oh boy.
Anyway, Swagger comes back and hits 5 clotheslines in a fucking row. Nice variety there, Swagger.
Pretty much.
Swagger goes for the Swagger bomb, but it gets countered. Jericho goes for a lion salt, but that gets countered. And then Swagger finally gets the Swagger bomb for a 2 count. The Walls of Jericho gets counted into a Patriot Lock, which gets countered yet again. And Chris Jericho gets the Enziguri on Swagger, and they both go down for a moment or 2 and catch their breath.
Just a breather. Everyone needs to breathe, and they need to relax, and they just get it all under control.
I should point out that there was a few like 1 or 2 moves in between these counters and stuff, but you know, I'm only making notes here. I'm not actually putting the fucking word for word documentation of what actually occurred in the match.
Yeah, there's a section where, like, you know, Swagger does hit the Swagger bomb, only to a 2 count. Then they actually both wrestlers were trying to pull off their submission holders, and like they attempt it, but both wrestlers of course counter it out. Jericho then tries to go for the code breaker, which is then counted to a power bomb. Again, only a 2 count.
That didn't look like a power bomb. That just looked like he fucking grabbed him by the back of the legs and just slammed him into the fucking floor.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what to call that, and to be honest, neither did the commentary team either.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I think Jericho did do a lion salt somewhere in there, but I can't remember what it was.
I don't think he got. He went for the lion salt, but it got countered.
Ah, okay.
After the code breaker is turned into what Thunder's calling a powerbomb, so we'll just go with that.
I probably missed what the announcer said if they said anything
I
for
don't
it.
think they even mentioned what it was, to be honest. Anyway,
That's why I
after
said powerbomb.
yeah, anyway,
I
after
guess.
the slam, whatever, Jack gets the Patriot lock on Chris Jericho. Um,
A very interesting tactic here is like he uses the referee to his leverage in order to reach the ropes because he's
yes, he
technically
grabs his ankle, doesn't he?
yeah he grabs like the ankle or something.
Um, and then not long after that, Chris Jericho gets the balls of Jericho on Swagger, and it takes Swagger all of about 5 seconds to tap out like a pussy.
Yeah, yeah, that's like here you have this guy who puts on like the Patriot lock, which or basically the ankle lock
Yeah,
as I'm
it's the
used to
ankle
knowing
lock.
it. As I'm used to knowing it, of course, because of Kurt Angle, and here when like it feels like here's a guy who has a pretty big submission mover because a lot of people tapped out to the ankle lock, and but yet here you have a
It's a
guy who
great move, but it's on the wrong person.
yeah
You're
here
giving it
you
to the
and then
wrong
you
person.
have him get put into the walls of Jericho, and 5 seconds later and he's tapping out. Like I think with someone of his stature, she could have gone for at least another like 10 seconds at least.
Anyway, that was the end of the match. I've got if this had been like a Raw or something, this would have been a really good match. But I've got a okay match for a pay per view.
It was right. One thing I want to mention though, just before we go next is there's two things. I'm guessing, of course, to still play the heat. Like there was a fan by ringside who had a get well Brett sign, and then Jericho's coming over. He just rips the sign out of the
Yeah, I
guy's
saw
hands
that.
and just tears the sign up. I was thinking, okay, that's a little crazy.
Well, he's
Like
playing up the role of heel, isn't he? So
yeah, like but I just thought it was like I was like that's like okay, that's
it could be. It could have
maybe
been a plan as well.
yeah, possibly. But and then one other thing that oh god, like I still have I'm still having nightmares just tearing in my head. Like JBL's trying to, of course, he's playing the heel commentator. He wants everyone to really support Jericho. He's telling everyone to shout to him, "You still got it," and he says it like 11 times in a row, over and over and over again. And I basically was getting so mad at this point. I wanted to rip his head off. It was like, please shut up.
Tell me about it.
It was like, oh god, ugh. Yeah.
Anyway, match number 3, the NXT Tag Team Championship. Dash and Dawson, The Revival versus Enzo and Cassidy. And just to clarify, this was my first time seeing all 4 men perform.
This was not my first time seeing Enzo and Cass perform. It was actually my first time seeing The Revival perform. And they had a pretty good promo for them, and when Enzo and Cass music hits, the crowd popped huge for them.
Oh, they fucking went mental for these
Speaking of mental, Enzo.
Oh, Enzo, I've got here, looks like a mix of Sky 2 Hottie and DDP.
He pretty much is. Like,
Yeah.
he came out with so much energy. He was over the top crazy. Like, he usually is, but tonight was just really noticeable. He was like amped up, like crazy, like even more so than the New Day usually are. He was just
Oh, absolutely. The guy looked like he was on fucking speed or something.
he has so much charisma, and he's just gets the crowd working so well. And of course the chanting he does, like my name is Enzo More, and I'm a certified Gina bona fide stud. You can't teach that. And this here is Big Cass, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. And this here is Carmella, and she's hot as hell, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, realist guys in the room, how you doing?
I can't believe you've got that down to a fucking memory.
I've heard it so many times. I'm so used to
Oh,
it.
fair enough, I suppose. But I will admit, when I heard him talk, and he was talking like a fucking wannabe gangster, it made me roll my eyes big time.
He's usually like that though, but he's very good at what he does.
He's basically a 90s character living in the year 2016.
sorry about, but yeah, like
He's
the
still
three.
very, don't get me wrong, he's still very energetic. He's very fucking hell, charismatic and stuff. It was just the character. I got into him really by the end of the match, but yeah, here at the beginning, I really did roll my eyes.
Yeah, but you know, everyone has different viewpoints of it. But I thought it was great. So
Anyway, the match starts, and there was a very early distraction by the ref, and it was weird because both Enzo and Dash on different teams tried distracting the ref. It was just so fucking weird because Enzo went and decked. I think it was Dawson that was on the turnbuckle, and Cassidy.
I'm not gonna.
It was weird.
I'm not gonna lie. When the match started, like this, like I mentioned, this is the first time I really ever saw the revival because I'm back and forth with NXT at times. I honestly, for a while until they started telling who was when I started cluing it in. I had a hard time telling who was who.
Right, I just remembered
on the revival
by,
side.
I remembered it by this. Dash had hair. Dawson was bald.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I remembered it.
Yeah, that's how. Like they mentioned, I think it was Scott in the ring, and you know
Scott.
him not having the hair
Scott.
and whatnot.
Who the fuck's Scott?
What?
It's Dash and Dawson.
No, Scott Dawson and Dash
Oh,
Wilder.
I just have Dash / Dawson. I never put Scott.
Yeah, that's his full name.
Yeah,
full wrestling name is Scott Dawson, and then Dash Wilder.
Alright, like I said, I just got Dash and Dawson because it was easier to write.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. It was a weird first distraction thing because it was like they both wanted to distract the ref.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was just kind of weird. My next note, I don't know how far this was in, but I've put Drew McIntyre's twin is in the ring and takes control of Dash.
The cast is like a large Drew McIntyre, if
Yeah.
you look at him.
Which is saying a lot, because Drew McIntyre was a pretty big fucking guy to begin with.
Yeah, and then here's Cass, who's like 7 feet tall, and I swear to God, for his size,
The guy can
he's
fucking
a damn
move.
good wrestler.
He can fucking move.
For a 7-footer, he's a really good wrestler.
Yeah, he was really fast on his feet. He was really agile. I was really surprised. I was expecting, oh god, here's another big guy that's going to have no fucking talent. Rained. And
I heard that.
I heard what? I didn't say anything. But I was pleasantly surprised by Cassidy, actually. I thought he was really good. Didn't really have time to get any thingy on his actual promo skills and stuff, because he just pretty much shouted a lot, but his actually in-ring work was really fantastic, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But we're actually going a little bit too far into the match. One of the first notes I've got here was the fact that Enzo launched into Dawson, and there was some really nice teamwork by him and Kaz.
Yeah, there was like one segment where Enzo is getting up, about to knock out both Dawson and Dash, and as a bit of leverage, Cass helps send Enzo over the top rope.
Oh, it was
so
fucking beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, like
that was actually my next note.
Like you rarely see tag teams do that. Like the other tag team helping the other to get to somewhere, but it was really good teamwork, and it's just it was really great to see.
These two were actually really in control for a while until I can't remember which one it was. So I put the champs throw Enzo into the turnbuckle, and now the Revival were in control. I couldn't remember for the life of me which one it was that actually got the tables turned.
Yeah, there's a lot of NXT chants that were going on through the match, and there as the two were still working over, already by the time of this match, there was a "This is awesome" chants.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I struggled to pay attention to the crowd because I was so into the match.
Oh yeah, the match, you just get sucked in with the match.
Yeah.
But I swear, watching these guys was like being on a sugar rush, basically, because they were just all over the place. It was so many, just the cameras moving so much. I'm like, slow down! I can't handle this.
The match is brought down to a slightly slower pace for a few minutes when Dawson puts an arm wrench, I think it was, on Enzo. It wasn't an arm bar. And then there was a nice thing. Enzo basically tries to get to Cassidy in the corner. So he kind of runs around, manages to avoid the Revival for a while, gets into the ring, and gets fucking shoulder tackled like a fucking football or rugby player.
Yeah, it was a
right out of
really
the
clever
fucking
move.
ring. It was actually really good. I thought there was like a botch or something until we got the replay.
No, like Dawson just comes in and just flying across the ring and shoulder checks Enzo. They just so he can't get the tag.
Yeah,
That
Enzo
was
does eventually
really
get the tag though.
yeah, that was really clever.
Yeah, it's
He
just something nice and different. I mean, it's what you would do if wrestling was real. You'd fucking tackle the guy to make sure he doesn't get the tag on the big guy.
hmm There's a segment, of course. Cass builds up quite a bit of momentum. He's just working all over the place, so quick on his feet and uh, there's at one point that Dash actually does try to get a roll up on Cass, but of course there's kick out of
Oh,
two,
absolutely.
and
Big
he came in and after that just loads of momentum. It was just building up like crazy.
Pretty much big boot two or three times if I remember,
Yeah,
and then I think it was a sidewalk slam called the East River Crossing,
something like that maybe. Yeah,
which
and
must
then,
be his finisher. I'm not sure.
yeah, so he tags in Enzo, and they're trying to perform the rocket launch, their move, the rocket launcher, but Dawson comes in to break the attempt. So
Yeah, that was actually a very smart move. Dawson then hides behind. Is it Carmella? I think they're Enzo.
the female,
Yeah,
Carmella.
yeah. He hides behind her basically, and she essentially tries to deck him, which is actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I quite like that spot.
What is the name of the Revival's tag team finisher? Because here's the thing: the sound went completely dead. I don't know if someone was swearing nearby, but it's like they muted the audio for a few seconds while they were performing the tag team finisher outside.
I know they used the finisher at the end of the match.
No, they used it on the outside as well.
Yeah, I believe it's called the Shatter Machine.
The Shatter Machine. Well, they used the Shatter Machine. I think it was on Cassidy on the outside, and there was an amazing DDT where Enzo jumped off the top rope and just sort of caught one of the Revival's heads mid jump and drilled him into the fucking ground. It was amazing.
Yeah, like the by this point, like This Is Awesome chance came back, and it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
hot. It was white hot, basically.
But to be honest, there wasn't much of note here that I've got other than there was a "This Is Awesome" chant as Fonda just mentioned, and then the Revival performed the
Shatter Machine.
the Shatter Machine for the
1, 2, 3.
finisher. Yep.
And retain the titles. And honestly, as far as I'm aware, there is talks that Enzo and Cass are going to be called up onto the main roster soon. And if you really think about it, they've been one of the longest tag teams in NXT.
Yeah, they mentioned that
and
in the promo.
they've had numerous championship matches, but they've never won the championship.
Do you think they'll make them go to main before win the NXT championship, or do you think they'll let them win and maybe lose it again a month later or something?
I don't know. We'll have to see where it comes from. I think, honestly, they should keep them away from the titles because I think it would work better is if, like, say they come up to the main roster because the New Day's like, we've beaten everyone who's left, and then Enzo and Cass come out and they challenge them for the titles, and basically the story going into it is they've always been the guys who could never get the job done.
Yeah.
And then they face a New Day,
actually.
and then they get the job done. It would be a really good story if they actually did that, I think.
But yeah, I thought this was a absolutely great match, and I was impressed by all four men.
This match was outstanding.
Enzo and Cassidy have a lot of charisma. Well, definitely Enzo anyway. Cassidy's probably doesn't have as much, but I will save my opinion of his charisma until I actually see him cut a promo. But yeah, all four men were impressive, and the other two were fucking great in the ring.
Enzo and Cass were just outstanding. The Revival's a very good team. They're all just four guys who are all really talented.
The Revival remind me of something like a crossbreed between the Heart Foundation and the Road Warriors.
Pretty much. I'm honestly going to say it this way. My rating on this was extremely high. I gave this a 9.5. I really liked this match.
That's a very high approval.
That was such a good match. I was really into it.
It was a really good match, yeah. I fully agree.
It was so much fun to watch, too. That was the thing.
We get a segment again with the doofus hair guy.
And with Natalia.
And Charlotte.
It's like she's bringing over her home country and she's dedicating the match she's about to have with Charlotte to Uncle Bret Hart. Charlotte, of course, comes in with Rick to mock Natalia, telling her that she's no longer on her level.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know this match was happening. This promo wasn't very good in my opinion, but it got me hyped because it's a Hart against the Flair.
There's one part I'm gonna bring up, which, as a fan of the team, it's so painful to just know that it's really been this long. But Charlotte compares Natalya to the NHL team of Toronto, the Toronto Maple Leafs, stating that she'll never win another championship like the team will never win another Stanley Cup. Because for those of you who don't know, the Toronto Maple Leafs last won a Stanley Cup in 1967 and have actually never been to the Stanley Cup final since then.
Wait, so did you say you were from Toronto?
I'm actually not. I'm from Burlington.
Oh.
My dad was from Toronto, but I've been to Toronto several times, but I'm not from Toronto.
You're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
I live like 45 minutes away, so.
Enough. Now you see, if you were 45 minutes away in England, that means you're about half the country away. So.
But yeah, like I just kind of grew like when you live near like a team, you're usually of course gonna get used to hearing all the local stuff. More so, and so of course, what's local sells. So I only see the Leaf stuff, and that's what I was introduced to. And so
anyway, this is a wrestling podcast.
I know. Let's go back to wrestling.
I know practically nothing of hockey, so.
Yes, because it's a Canadian thing, even though it's mostly comprised of American teams.
I've been to, we have a English.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
My city has one of the best teams in the country, but it's still nothing really compared to what I'm sure the Canada teams have. But yeah, as I said, I thought the promo itself was okay, I guess. I've seen a lot better from Charlotte. But again, just the fact that it's a Flair against a Hart actually got me hyped for this match.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there wasn't... I don't think there was a promo or anything for this, because this was just sort of a last-minute thing, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, match number 4 for the Divas Championship, which it was not going to be originally, but Natalya talked her into it. Charlotte versus Natalya.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still got Goldust cum all over her face.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, some nice back and forth to start the match. These two, I will say right now, this was a very mat-based wrestling match.
A what, sorry?
Mat-based, very, a lot of submissions, a lot of ground moves and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
As I said, some nice back and forth to start. Big chop by Natalya, gets a big woo chant, which doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all. Especially because Ric Flair is there at ringside anyway. So
every time somebody chops someone in a match, they always woo, even if Ric Flair's in fucking a different company.
Yeah,
it's just a thing with wrestling now.
They'll woo him even if
you go,
woo! They'll woo him even if he's at the pub, probably. Like he has known to be many times. Nothing against players, just that he's known to be a drunk many times.
Allegedly, but then again, it probably. Anyway, a nice surfboard stretch, I think the move's called by Charlotte. Oh, sorry, by Natty on Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
A baseball slide to Charlotte, who's on the outside. Natty's getting back in the ring. Ric Flair's actually clapping, saying, like, good job for beating up my daughter.
Pretty much.
It just looked fucking weird. And then...
It was even by this point I was saying this was a much better match compared to Charlotte versus Brie Bella at Fastlane.
Yeah, but still got quite a bit to go. Yeah. Charlotte then locks in that fucking scissors headlock thing she likes to do, and holy fuck, just driving Natty's face into the mat time and time again.
The figure 8?
No, it's where that's where she performs. That's the submission, but she gets Natty's head, and this is gonna sound so fucking gay, not gay, so sexual, but she gets her head locked in between her legs and just sort of fucking turns over and then just drives her face like a reverse pedigree sort of thing over and over again into the mat.
Yeah.
She's done that, I think,
Thank
in
you,
every.
thank you for describing it as such. I'm sure I'm forever gonna remember it as such now.
It's just she does it every fucking match I think I've seen her in so far. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it looks so fucking painful. It's like she's just grabbing her fucking neck into the fucking mat. I actually love it. I think it looks really painful.
Yeah.
But she has that fucking scissors leg lock in for quite a while. And just and then they start just flipping over each other while she's still got her legs wrapped around the fucking face. By the way, I just love watching Charlotte wrestle. She's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And then there's a pretty funny moment. Michael Cole says Charlotte's always in control, and then it cuts to Ric Flair who's strutting and acting like an idiot outside, and then he goes, "Unlike her dad." That got me to legitimately piss myself laughing.
Like when he's just having a dance outside the ring, the whole crowd's just popping for it. They're just
I
like,
know, but I
this
just
is
thought
great.
that was just perfect timing by Michael Cole. I won't usually give him much, but he just fucking that had to be right off the cuff. That had to be nothing in his ear from Vince or anything. That was like him just making a fucking quip. It had to be. It was too just off the cuff. There was no way that was planned.
Probably. It's just it's Flair. He'll usually do stuff like that all the time.
Flair's just fucking big kid at heart, I'm guessing.
Yeah, possibly.
A figure four counts into a small package for a 2 count. And then there's a bit of a chop and forearms back and forth.
Yep.
From the two ladies. Nanny gets that big clothesline of hers where she turns around. I don't know if there's an actual name for it.
The Charlotte and Talia trade chops, and I think she did a leg sweep at some point.
Yeah, she does side Russian leg sweep. She also gets she goes for a sharpshooter, which gets counted into a roll up by Charlotte. But nothing much comes from it. I think it was only a 1 or 2 count. A big boot from Charlotte. The figure four gets reversed by Natty. It's then reversed again by Charlotte. And what the fuck? Why is Charlotte in pain when the figure four is technically on?
I don't know.
It was weird because they were countering. When you counter the figure four, it's when you're suddenly on your hands and knees and it looks like you're pushing your ass against the person's foot, so you're putting pressure on their ankle. But the problem was, they were still in the figure four move, yet it was Charlotte who was screaming in pain, yet she was the one that applied it, so I don't understand why she was the one in pain.
Yeah, it was a little confusing.
It was really confusing, to be honest. It was the only major issue I had with the match, because I'm thinking, if they botched something here, well, obviously they botched it because the wrong person was screaming, but
I'm just really confused, to say the least, right now.
by the match or by me?
Not by you, just by everything going on.
Something called natural selection for a 2 count. I actually looked away from the screen for this, so I didn't actually see what it was.
I'm sorry?
It's a move from Charlotte called natural selection, according to...
Yeah, the natural selection. She hits the natural selection.
What is the natural selection? Because as I said, I kind of looked away from the screen for a moment here and I missed it.
Oh god, I have to try to remember, because this is kind of one of those things that makes me look like I don't know shit about wrestling sometimes.
Well, to be honest, we obviously don't know that much. We just fucking reviewing what we know.
Yeah, of course. The natural selection is basically like a somersault cutter, and sometimes she does it from the top rope, but this was not one of those.
All right, I get it. But yeah, she hits the natural selection for a 2 count.
I think at one time she called it bow down to the queen, but now I believe it's natural selection.
It's just a lot faster to say, isn't it? So.
Yes.
Nanny gets a sit-down powerbomb for a 2 count when Charlotte goes to the top rope. Which was pretty nice. There's actually "This is awesome" chant that breaks out. And we actually get some really nice submission chain wrestling with the two ladies constantly reversing each other's finishers. But Natty does luck in the sharpshooter, which gets a fucking huge pop. You know, the sharpshooter in Canada, it's always going to get a huge pop.
Yeah. There was one thing, though, just going back to the whole natural selection. When Natalia kicked out at 2, like, Charlotte just got into shock. Like, she was thinking, how did she kick out? So she's pinning her multiple times, and she just keeps kicking out at 1. I'm like, right.
Well, according to, again, the commentary, I'm just going what they said. Apparently she won the Divas Championship with that move.
Yeah, she had won the championship with the move.
So I'm guessing that's why she was shocked, so...
Yeah.
But there was a weird moment. Now he's got the sharpshooter locked in, and Charlotte's trying to get to the ropes, and it looks like she's going to try and use Rick to get to the ropes, but he actually doesn't help her cheat. He's just sort of there trying to egg her on. And then Natty stops with the sharpshooter and turns around and clocks Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Which leads to the roll-up pin by Charlotte for the free count. But here's the thing, I don't understand. Was Rick actually supposed to help Charlotte and she forgot?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm confused, to say the least.
Yeah, it was a weird ending, but to be honest, it's the same as last month. In fact, I don't think any of the Divas matches have had good endings so far, yet they're such good matches. It's like, I don't know, maybe if we get a Divas match without Ric Flair there, there'll actually be a decent ending.
Yeah,
He
pretty much.
definitely seems to be making it worse. I love Ric Flair, I think he's one of the best ever, but overall, though, I thought it was a really good match. Gonna be honest, though, I kind of expected more.
It was a good match. I will agree. It probably should have been a little bit more. I'm just kind of was like bummed out. I was like, oh god, of course they're gonna have a distraction roll up in a way because they do it so often.
Yeah.
At least these days they do.
Seriously, just give the women some decent finishers that they can finish a match with.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
it was
if
still
you're not gonna let one of the women get their submission, whether it be the figure eight or the sharpshooter, at least just, I don't know, give them. You could have just won it within the second natural selection.
Yeah, something like that. I gave this match a 6.
Like I said, I don't do the numbers game, but like I said, a really good match, but a poor finish.
Yeah, like I know you do the whole grade thing. I'm just used to always going by
That's
numbers,
fine.
so.
I was actually contemplating doing that when we did episode 1, but I have my overall grade for the pay-per-view, and that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, match number 5: Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, who just comes along for the ride.
He's like, yeah, I'm just kind of here.
This was advertised as a one-on-one match, but it turned into a handicap match essentially.
Well,
sort of. It was weird.
Sort of.
First of all, a very good promo. It made both men actually look really good.
Yep.
Brock, we know, is the fucking dominating one, but it's easy to forget from these promos that the Wyatts haven't had a fucking victory in forever.
I still think Bray Wyatt's entrance is like the best entrance they have.
No question about it.
Great.
That soft yet eerie music and all those fucking phones brighten up the darkened arena. It's always an amazing sight. I love it. Bray cuts a quick promo. Nothing I haven't heard before, but the guy's always good on the mic. He knows his way around it.
Yeah.
The music, Brock's music hit, and the crowd go crazy.
Not surprisingly.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that Heyman was already really putting over Toronto, so it kind of makes Lesnar look even more so like the face of the night to them.
The match starts. Bray immediately leaves by tagging in Luke Harper.
And that's pretty much how it mostly remains throughout the rest of the match.
Bray, I don't think physically gets involved at all for the rest of the contest. It doesn't actually go long, maybe 3-4 minutes max, but I'm going to be honest here. Luke Harper got in more offense than I was expecting.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a Lesnar domination show.
Well, it did become that, but
well, of course.
Lesnar got a couple suplexes on Harper, but Harper launched himself at Brock, who was distracted by Bray on the outside. Lesnar counters with a suplex, but then I think I've put the wrong thing here. I think it was more like probably something like Harper counters a suplex and gets a big boot to Brock. 2 super kicks, one right after the other to Brock, who finally goes down, I think, on the second one. And then I've got here so many suplexes, super kicks, and big boots. There was so many of them. I think Harper did about 7 big boots and 10 super kicks.
Yeah, it was something like that. I lost count long ago.
Essentially, Lesnar got at one point in full control and then just went all suplex city on the guy. and pretty much F5'd him for the free count. There was not much to say about this match, to be honest. It was a glorified segment.
Yeah, it felt to me it's like why would they have to promote this as a handicap match if he just faces Harper?
Here's the thing. All I can think is they're going to look to pick up the Bray and Brock feud again after WrestleMania.
Either that or they're gonna switch something up. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to switch it up. And this is going to be a bit early. I think it's either going to be something they pick up again after Mania, or they're going to interfere in the match at Mania, and that's how Ambrose is going to get a win over Lesnar.
I do have an idea that leads into that, which could be something they could do at WrestleMania, but I'll
We'll
say
talk
that
about
as we
that
get to that.
afterward.
Yeah, I'll say
Yeah.
that as we get to that point.
As I put here, physically it was a very interesting match. To see two big guys who can actually take and perform some decently powered moves.
It was an alright match.
But
I just think it just kind of felt like it was a filler, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what it was. But like I said, this was more of a segment than an actual match. But
So,
it did make me really interesting once to see a Brock versus Bray Wyatt match.
yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I wouldn't want one-on-one, though. I'd want a gimmick match. It'd have to be like a cage match or a Hell in a Cell or something.
Yeah, I pretty much just gave this match with Lesnar and Harper, since I don't really consider it Lesnar and Wyatt / Harper, just Lesnar and Harper. I just gave it a 4.
Well, fair enough. I don't think it's even worth that. Like I say, it wasn't much. I
No,
don't think
not
that.
really.
I don't think there was a promo after that because I've gone straight into match 6.
There was, yeah, the only thing they showed promo wise was just another thing for the Edge and Christian
Oh
show.
fuck! We're not doing adverts. We don't do fucking adverts. Fuck the fucking adverts.
Yeah, I know. Like it was, but at least they only showed it once this time.
Yeah, I think it was once, maybe twice at most. It was never more
Yeah.
than twice anyway.
But yeah, no, the next match right away happened was Sami Zayn versus Stardust. Zayn came out and he had a pretty good reception, which
Pretty good. I thought he got one of the biggest pops of the night.
yeah, that's true.
I will
mean,
say, just for
I think I may have
clarify,
been underplaying it a little bit. Sorry,
first
yes.
time I've seen Sami Zayn.
Huh, interesting. But yeah, like I guess I expected he'd get a very good reaction because he
Love his
actually
music,
is
by the
from.
way.
Yeah, it's great music. He's actually from Canada, so
Yeah, I remember
I
one of
expected
the
the
commentators
reaction.
saying that.
Yeah. But as he's coming out to the ring and he's coming down the ring, he's just kind of moving all around, and I'm thinking, please don't blow your shoulders out again, please, Zayn, don't get injured
Yeah,
again.
didn't he get injured, come back for one match, and get injured in that one match?
I don't remember.
I didn't. I've never seen him wrestle. As I said, it was during the
But yeah,
the hiatus.
they say that Kevin Owens caused the injury, but that wasn't actually the case.
was
The case
Cena.
was, yeah, the case was as they were starting up the match between Zayn and Cena. Zayn was just moving all around, and he actually blew out his shoulder during, like, hyping
Oh,
himself
I
up.
remember that. I
Yeah,
remember reading about that because I laughed myself silly.
Yeah, he blew out his shoulder before the
Don't
match.
get me wrong. I don't like seeing people in pain, but when people get hurt just doing stupid shit before they even get to the ring, it makes me laugh. It's like when Randy Orton did the whole getting pumped up thing where he banged his hands on the fucking canvas before he does an RKO, and he broke his hand at one point doing it, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking is like, you may want to just ease off on that.
It's fucking hilarious, but oh, what was I gonna say? Sami Zayn comes out first. Stardust comes out second, and he looks like one of the fucking generals from a Power Rangers series.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, not even the main
Stardust
villain,
just-
just a general.
Stardust just looks even more ridiculously silly as of late.
Yeah.
And of course, the Ole chant started right away.
Oh, absolutely. This actually was a strange beginning to a match because it was fast paced, but they'd also stop and do like armbar rests for a good 20 to 30 seconds at times. It was weird.
Mhm.
It was like fast paced, but then it'd slow down. Fast paced, slow down. Just for
Yeah,
like the first 2
kinda-
minutes. It was weird.
Kind of back and forth like that.
Stardust. Sorry.
Stardust was freaking out. Well, of course, the crowd's chanting Cody at him because he doesn't
That's
want to
his
be known
thing.
as Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. But yeah, Stardust was in control of this match for quite a while.
Yeah. I mean, Zayn did actually get some early offense and a lot of great entertaining moves for a while, but you know.
Sammy does trying to get the momentum going on his side, but is denied by a knee to the gut from Stardust. A sort of weird
The crowd
reverse.
wasn't very into the fact that Stardust was working over him.
I'm gonna go more into that when we get to our overall opinion on the match. But there's a
All right.
weird move that Stardust does. It's like a reverse Boston Crab. It looked really fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I didn't
it
like
was.
that.
I mean, he looked all right during the match, but it just wasn't anything special, and the crowd didn't really care either. So,
Stardust gets Matt Hardy's side effect for a 2 count.
yep, there was many pin attempts,
Oh yeah, there was a lot of pin
but
attempts.
nothing, of course.
And then there was this what I felt was actually a pretty stupid thing that made Sammy look really weak. He blocks a superplex from the top rope. He shoves Stardust down onto the mat, and Stardust has more than enough time to get back up there and try it for a second time and gets it.
Yeah, and of course get 2 count, and then after that is when he finally started getting the
Yeah.
momentum back. He's building up energy. Where he was working on Stardust in the corner.
Yeah, he gets
He
gets
ends
the
up
10
hitting
punches in the
the
corner.
yeah. He ends up hitting the blue thunder bomb for a 2 count, and
Is
basic.
that what was the thing? It was like he jumps over the top rope like a senton. Does he have an actual move for it? Or is it just a senton?
No, you're talking about the one I just mentioned, right? With the blue thunder bomb.
I don't know. Stardust was on the outside. Sammy ran to the rope and then ran and threw himself over the top rope and performed.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking
Alright.
about. Then never mind. Sorry, God, I feel so stupid right now. I really do.
I don't have a lot of notes for this, to be honest. I've just got a couple more because we're actually not too far away from the end of the match, if I remember correctly.
No.
See if we can get each other on the same length here. I've got the next note here was there was a disaster kick for a 2 count from Stardust.
Yeah,
Are we currently in the same place?
pretty much.
And
That's
then
exactly what I have next. The disaster kick. 2.5.
Sammy got the something kick. I didn't catch the name.
The hell of a kick.
The hell of a kick. Oh, that was what it was. I didn't actually catch the name, so. I'm going to perform internet sacrilege here. I wasn't impressed by Sami Zayn.
You weren't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be honest.
He's a very good wrestler, but I don't know. I guess maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't say this was his best match. He's had better matches, but
Here's the
I
thing.
guess it is what it is.
Here's the thing. The match started, he came out and I thought the crowd went fucking... I think we've got different opinions on that, but I thought the crowd went fucking apeshit for the guy.
Yes, they did.
So I thought, alright, this is Sami Zayn. I finally get to see him wrestle. I knew he'd been injured and stuff, and I was actually interested in seeing him in the ring. But the problem was, they played him up as the underdog, and he was too much of a punching bag for Stardust that I was so bored for the first half of the match.
I don't understand why they made him like the underdog in the situation, because he's clearly the guy who's more over, and I personally believe, as much as I do think Cody Rhodes is a good wrestler, I do think Zayn can out-wrestle him on one of his best nights.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there was nothing really technically wrong with the match, but this was a basic Raw match to me. And I'll definitely give Sami Zayn another chance. I'm not going to leave my first impression of the guy be my only impression of him, but I was bored apart from maybe the last couple of minutes of this match, and even then I'm going to be honest, I thought this was the worst match of the night, apart from maybe the Lesnar-Harper match.
Pretty much.
Which is more of a segment, really. So
I'd say this one, I think I gave this one a 6.
Fair enough. Like I said, we kind of considered the Lesnar-Harper match to be a...
That was, in my
segment.
opinion,
This is an
the
actual
worst match of the night was the Lesnar and Harper one, because it was just kind of such a short thing and didn't really lead to much.
There was no reason for that to even be a match.
Yeah. But anyways.
For an actual match, what I would consider a match, I thought this was the weak one of the night. But with that, we've got one match left. The WWE Championship, Triple H, the champion, versus Dean Ambrose, the challenger.
And they had another promo, which did pretty well.
Yep.
But first, the one thing to always keep in mind is, and this is a recurring theme, is if either the promo ends or the Monday night just before the event or pay-per-view airs and the challenger is holding the championship, it usually means they're not going to win it.
We'll get more into that afterwards because it's something I want to address about the entire special overall. But
yeah,
before the match even starts, we've got a "Let's Go Ambrose" Triple H chant.
Yeah, Triple H actually came out first, which I was a bit surprised by. I thought they had Ambrose come out first, but whatever. And the crowd actually did quite like Triple H. They gave him a pretty good reaction.
You know, Triple H gets a lot of shit, but I think people forget he's actually a really good wrestler. So
Yeah, like tonight he actually did very well, but we'll get into that.
yeah. The match starts. Triple H takes control early on, out wrestling Ambrose, and the dual chants start up again. The dual chants been "Let's go Ambrose Triple H." It's just whenever I put dual chants, that's what I mean.
I put dueling Triple H, Let's Go Ambrose chants.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
then
actually one thing I want to bring up.
Go on then.
Did you actually look in the crowd during this match? Someone put up a poster, put up a sign that said, "Divas Champion Triple H, the Queen of Queens."
No, I'll be honest. I didn't pay attention at all to the audience.
I saw that and I absolutely laughed my head off. I was like, "Oh my god!"
There was actually another CM Punk chant for a few moments here.
Yeah, I personally wrote that they should stop, but of course you wouldn't want them to. But I actually, looking back at it, I think I understand why, because there was of course anyone knows that there was a lot of animosity between Punk and Triple H, and especially because before he walked out of the company and then was eventually fired, he was supposed to go to WrestleMania to face Triple H at WrestleMania, and
Yeah,
he was
I
actually
remember.
although he was actually supposed to win the match, he just felt like he didn't want to give Triple H a chance because he felt like he was just getting a wasted spot.
Nah, fair enough. There was one moment I really like. Ambrose gets a little bit of momentum back, and he sort of just grabs Triple H by the nose.
Yeah, I actually put that in too. Is like I thought he was like making a show out of it, but also at the same time you can keep in control of
Well,
the match.
he was twisting his nose. He wasn't just showboating.
I just thought it was hilarious.
He was putting him
So.
in some pain. It was actually pretty good.
I thought it was great though.
Yeah, Ambrose is still in control, and the dual chants start up again. There's a nice crossbody and a huge clothesline to Triple H.
I was actually surprised he actually had a moment where Ambrose sent Triple H over the top rope.
Yeah, he's clotheslines Triple H to the outside. Dean and this is something I really liked about the match. Dean was actually really smart and was going for Triple H's legs, more specifically his quadricep.
Yeah, because
that is really good storytelling.
It was really clever because it's if you're a newer wrestling fan and you're not understanding why he would go for that. Triple H has twice suffered a quadricep injury, first in 2001 and again in 2007. So he has a bit of history with injuries to the quad. So
even the leg itself, back in '98 he had a knee injury that kept him out for about 3 months.
Oh yeah, that is true. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I
think it was the same leg actually.
Possibly, but yeah, I thought it was really clever that Ambrose was targeting it because he wanted to find a way to weaken Triple H, and that was in my opinion, that was a very good way of doing it.
Yeah, because the commentators were going on about the fact that Dean Ambrose usually goes into a match without any plan, but tonight he's got a plan. He's going for that leg. And they made sure you knew that because they told you about 17 times.
Yeah, they really wanted you to know. Oh god, he could tear his quad!
Oh my god, Dean Ambrose has got a plan!
He could actually do this, but we'll get into that.
It was the only thing really about the commentary I noticed tonight, to be honest. I mean, there was a couple of other segments, but that really did... Oh, come on, guys. You've already mentioned that like 16 times.
Say it like once or twice, not like a million, billion, times 8 times.
Anyway, out on the outside, Triple H goes for a pedigree. Dean Ambrose counters it, but his own counter gets countered by Triple H, who sends Dean into these stairs.
Yeah, they kicked him into the ring steps, and I was like, wow, that was actually quite a creative move.
The two get back in the ring. Triple H uses the ropes and sort of slingshots Dean's neck into it. I think it was supposed to be, but it looked a little bit off. But he then goes for a 2 count. He goes for a count and gets a 2.
Like I think he actually at one point put the crossface on Ambrose.
Yeah, that was my next note. Triple H with the crossface. Hello, Chris Benoit.
Wait, who?
Oh yeah, it's Who Must Not Be Named. I forgot.
I think it could, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I remember like 12 years ago, Triple H lost the title to some guy called Vacant, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
That guy had a lot of championship reigns.
in all seriousness,
Yeah.
he does eventually. Ambrose doesn't tap out, and then eventually recovers, and then gets a whole stack of punches on him. But that leads to Triple H putting him into the spine buster for a two
Lovely
count.
spine buster. I love Triple
Yeah,
H's
very good
spine
spine
buster.
buster. Yeah, he does a very good spine buster.
Not as
But
nice as Arn Anderson's, but second best.
yeah, Arn Anderson has the best spine buster in the business, and then Triple H would be second, and I'd say third probably Batista afterwards. Maybe. I don't know.
I actually only here's the thing. Not a lot of people actually use a spine buster that I can think of, apart from Batista and The Rock.
Yeah, and then Triple H, of course, as
No,
well.
we've already mentioned Triple H. I was talking.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'd say I think Batista did a better spine buster than The Rock though. So
Yeah, I would agree with that. Anyway, Dean Ambrose goes to the top row, performs a flying elbow on Triple H. Nice move.
it's a very nice move.
Yep. And then the two start trading blows, but Dean manages to take control of the match for a short period of time. Gets a running bulldog for a 2 count.
Yep, and he gets tons of momentum, and he's even taunting him.
Yep.
Which basically taunting him, leading into
The 10 punches I've got here, which gets interrupted by Triple H.
Yeah, and then and then Triple H, I believe, leads him into a clothesline. Triple H does go again for the pedigree, but Ambrose
I'm
counters.
going to say right now, there was a lot of pedigree attempts in this match.
There really was, but Ambrose counters the pedigree, and again sends him over the top rope, kind of almost like a. Honestly, the way I looked at it is like kind of almost like emulating the Royal Rumble, in a way.
Yeah, it really was. You've just to clarify before the 2 went out, Ambrose did go for the dirty deeds as well, but that was counted.
I was gonna get that in a bit.
No,
but...
after the pedigree counter, there was an immediate dirty deeds counter as well.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I didn't actually list that down, but I don't know. But Ambrose goes for a running dive, but he's ran into a right hand by Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
And during this, he's actually beginning to dismantle the table. I guess
poor table.
I guess he had to put a pedigree on him, but Ambrose does recover.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H does go again for a pedigree, but Ambrose puts him into a figure 4, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they're back in the ring at this point.
Yeah, they're back in the ring. Yeah, sorry.
And then, oh my God, the fucking crowd went nuts. Dean goes for the sharpshooter.
Yeah, and I was actually really surprised, like Ambrose putting in the sharpshooter. I was like, wow.
Oh, and by the way, it was a pretty nice sharpshooter.
Oh yeah, Ambrose does a good sharpshooter, like better than The Rock.
He needs to.
The Rock is like the worst sharpshooter.
Give
no
Dean
offense to him.
Yeah, the Rock's fucking sharpshooter is terrible. Dean should actually have a submission, and that should be his submission.
Yeah, I think they should make Ambrose have the sharpshooter be his submission move, because he does a good submission move. I'm sure Brett was probably thinking, at least this guy can do it better than The Rock.
Absolutely. The crowd were going nuts though while Triple H was in the sharpshooter. They were going. This was the loudest I think they got all night.
Yeah, like
you've got the fan favorite putting on the sharpshooter, which is like Canada's signature submission against Triple H.
And it's like the big thing that too is like he held that submission for a long time.
I'd say a good 40 seconds easy.
Like Triple H try to go for the rings, gets pulled back in the middle. Although he does go for it again, and then does eventually get to the rope, which you could hear the crowd just be like, "God damn it!
No, put him back in it, please."
But
here comes
the interesting part.
Yes, out of nowhere, Ambrose gets the dirty deeds. And
he goes for the pin, and he pins for the 1, 2, 3,
and the 3,
and everyone loses their mind.
Including me,
apparently,
oh yeah, this fucking pissed me off.
Apparently, the ref immediately counts off the pin because apparently Ambrose's feet was under the bottom rope. Here's the problem, though. The way the camera was set up, you couldn't honestly tell. And then as soon as it counted off, the crowd just started chanting bullshit.
Yep.
Because as it actually turns out, according to people who actually were at the event, his foot wasn't even all the way under the bottom rope. It was like a couple inches away from it.
We'll go more into this in a little...
And not to mention, like the referee's looking at him as if he has his foot under the bottom rope the entire time,
Oh,
but still does the count to three and then does that. I'm like, what?
I don't want to stop your momentum here because you believe me, I'm just feeling off as pissed off as you are. But a little bit later on, I didn't put a note, but I do remember this. It's nothing really. Triple H goes for a roll up, puts his 2 feet on the middle rope. The thing is, the ref can see this as it's banging in front of his fucking eyes, and
Yeah,
doesn't stop counting. No, nor does he actually tell Triple H to get his fucking feet off the rope or anything. Yet,
yeah.
look, I know it's scripted, but you've got to have some consistency. If you're gonna let the heel get his feet on the ropes, don't be so fucking in front of him that it's impossible to miss the fact that the guy is cheating. Okay.
It was just a really ugly spot the way they were setting that up. But of course, even with him using the ropes to his leverage, Ambrose does
Yeah.
actually get out for the 2 count.
Just to clarify, that's a little bit later. But after the whole incorrect 3 count, thankfully Dean doesn't like get low blowed or anything. He does get pissed off and he does go on the attack after that. He sends Triple H flying over the fucking top rope.
Yeah, like he launched him over the corner and out of the ring, and then he goes for the running
Yep.
dive, works Triple H into the barricade, and then goes for a top rope dive outside of Triple H. And then the thing
Onto the outside, by the way, not in the ring. On the outside, like fucking.
yeah, on the
Shane
outside.
McMahon.
And then the thing I immediately notice is even when they're both down on the ground, it cuts the close to the Ambrose, and you just see him mocking Triple H there. And he's just doing the DX
suck it.
crotch chop.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I was like, that was great. That was just a really great spot.
That was fucking hilarious. Dean does get Triple H on the announcers table, which was set up earlier. I will admit, I was kind of felt it was a little bit lackluster, but you know what? It doesn't matter. But he goes onto the barricade behind where the commentators usually are, runs off, leaps at Triple H and tries to do an elbow, but Triple H moves away, and Dean Ambrose basically goes through the table himself.
Yeah.
Dean barely beats the 10 count, and I'm talking the skin of his teeth here.
Like, yeah, like when Ambrose went, like, sets Triple H to the table doing the elbow drop, and then Triple H rolled out to avoid, and then Ambrose crashed the table, like, for like 3 seconds, a holy shit chance. It was like the shortest holy shit chance I ever heard in my life.
It was still a nice moment, but
Compared
to what we've seen people go through to put people through announce tables, it was pretty tame.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as you mentioned, Ambrose does get back to the ring just barely, but
straight into a pedigree.
Straight into a pedigree. 1, 2, 3. He's the champ. He still retains the championship.
Yep. Despite the rather tame moment at the end there, I actually felt this was a fucking terrific match.
This was an incredible match. I thought it was an outstanding match in my opinion.
Yeah. Triple H, hasn't had as they mentioned, the actual match since, technically the Rumble, but a one-on-one match since Sting at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, this match was night and day compared to that match.
Here's the thing with Triple H. His in-ring work isn't anything flashy or anything, but it has a timeless appeal to it. He's doing the same stuff he was doing 10 years ago, but it doesn't feel like he's gotten any worse at it. He knows how to do his stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't feel dated. Like and this match was kind of like proof. Like if you really give him a chance, or you put him up with someone who's really good, it shows that he can be just as good. Like he still has it for being like 46 years old, probably going to be 40. I think going to be 47.
Yeah, he's also
this
not.
July.
He
can really work in the ring still.
He's also not a full-time competitor, like you said. So
no, he's not.
He's not someone
he's a part-timer now.
Yeah, I mean, all right, he probably trains and stuff, and they have like practice matches and stuff. But it's like JBL said, I think at one point, there's a difference between training and actually being in the ring in the front of a full crowd like that.
Yeah,
and the guy has no ring rust.
No. But yeah, I said this match, I think I gave this like a 9. It was just really good.
I've just got here a terrific match. But
yeah,
there was no like closing segment or anything, and that was WWE Roadblock, a WWE special on the WWE Network.
And yeah, honestly, it didn't pull any punches, it didn't pull any surprises. They played it safe, but honestly,
right,
a lot of the matches were really good caliber, so I thought it was a pretty good event.
Before we go into ratings and everything, I'm going to point off my one... Actually, we'll do the ratings first, and then we'll go into the match of the night and stuff, but I want to say something in between. What was your overall grade for the let's just call it a pay-per-view to avoid confusion.
I believe in my opinion I gave this a B
You
plus.
gave it a B plus, really? Usually it was me that's the optimist. I gave this a B minus.
I guess we swapped roles then.
Yeah, but my main issue with this pay-per-view, again, I'm just calling it that to avoid confusion, was the fact that you said they played it safe, and that was the problem. They played it too safe. I mean, you had like the miscellaneous matches like Sami Zayn versus Stardust, but when it came to the title matches, there was no question who was walking out winner.
Yeah, like, and that's kind of the disappointing part of it too. Like I mentioned I was still was all right with the way things turned out because I kind of knew,
Yeah,
but
everyone knew, but that's the
every
problem.
now and then
Here's the thing.
you gotta at least throw the
Yeah,
curveball in.
that was exactly what I was going to say. You need to throw a curveball. All right, you're not going to change the Triple H Reigns match because you're fucking stupid and think Reigns is money. But the Divas match, I can also. Here's the problem: you've announced these title matches for WrestleMania, and you then give them title matches on this pay-per-view. No, why not put on an IC title match where nothing's been announced for WrestleMania for that?
Yeah,
Or the
well,
US title or something, not titles that have already been announced for WrestleMania.
yeah, it's like,
Where they could actually be a title change. I mean, even the NXT championship, that one could have changed hands, and I don't know. Like you said, there's a reason they didn't. That's probably because, like you said, they're going to get called up to main. But they should. I think just to let this stand out a little bit more, put a different title match on in place of, I don't know, say the fucking Sami Zayn, Stardust, or Lesnar, Harper, whatever, and maybe change championship. Who's the fucking US champion right now?
Kalisto.
Have Kalisto go up against... I don't know. Why did you put Kalisto versus Jack Swagger?
Do you know what they're doing actually? And I really wish I wasn't kidding. I think they're trying to set Kalisto up with something with Ryback for the championship, which is like, this is like the most lopsided thing I've seen. Like, and a lot of times it doesn't look like it makes sense to me. It just seems like they ran out of ideas. So like,
Right.
quick, we gotta put Ryback with someone. Who we put? Let's set him up with a program with Kalisto. Great. And I'm sitting here thinking, no, this doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing. That does if they let Kalisto come out on top, because it's a smaller guy overcoming the big guy. And
Yeah, so basically
championship.
David beating Goliath in a way.
Exactly, and it also helps Kalisto, who's on a pretty decent... He's not on a great, but he's on a decent singles run right now. However, if they give it to Ryback, I don't see the point.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge wasted opportunity if they do that.
Anyway, we'll get more into that when we get to the WrestleMania part. But we've done the overall ratings. You gave it, the show a B plus. I gave it a B minus.
Yeah.
Match of the night.
Since I did the ratings, you probably already know what it is, but yeah, my match of the night was Enzo and Cass versus the Revival. Just, I can't. I guess that match. I'm gonna probably rewatch that match pretty soon. It's just so fun to watch.
For me, I will admit this was difficult. It was a toss up between that match and the main event. I overall gave it to the main event because why I did enjoy the tag team match. I don't know. There was just something I preferred about the main event overall. It was probably more due to the fact that Triple H and Ambrose are two guys I know. I thought all four men performed admirably during the tag team match, but again, I didn't know who they were. So it was a little bit hard to be that invested. It did drag me in, don't get me wrong. I thought it was a great match, but if I'd have known who these guys were and were actually fans of them, I probably would have given the match of the night to them. But overall, main event for me.
Yeah, that's understandable.
All right, your superstar of the night. Currently, I have given it to Ambrose twice. I think you've given it to...
I think I gave it to him once.
You gave it to him, I think, at the Rumble, like I did. I think you gave the second one to Kevin Owens, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I did. Well, I guess you're not really gonna be surprised, though. I gave Superstar of the Night again to Ambrose this time around.
Oh, look! Ambrose to me as well. 3 times in a row. I swear to God, I am not an Ambrose fanboy. I swear to God.
We're not trying to come off as fanboys of him. We're not trying to do this on purpose, but it's becoming a recurring thing where Ambrose just goes out and he just does so well. Like, he's consistently putting on
I
really
know.
good
I
matches.
was watching this. I was actually thinking before the match even took place for the main event. Please don't let Ambrose be superstar of the night. Please don't let him be superstar of the night. Because it's just gonna make it look like I'm a fucking fanboy. But no, the guy. Here's the thing. The fact. All right. The false free count was a bit of a fuck you moment, but it also
Yeah.
made Dean look strong because it's saying
Yeah, Dean
I can
looks.
beat
Yeah, he looks
Triple.
really strong. Like, he was beating down
He
the
beat
people.
he
It
beat
was beating down
Triple
people,
H.
beating down
No,
Triple H.
he
Yeah,
beat
sorry.
Triple H. He got the free count.
Yeah,
It was just reversed.
I have a feeling like they're probably gonna work into some kind of storyline with it. I swear to God, I hope they do, because if they
Yeah,
don't and they just blow it off, that's gonna be a completely wasted opportunity.
yeah,
But he can go into Raw and say to right in front of Triple H, "Look, I beat you."
yeah, exactly. Anyway, the final award for the night, moment of the night.
I think I said it first for the first two. So you don't want to say yours first, then?
No, you go first.
I just want to switch it up, but okay. Oh man, this was a really big toss-up. There were quite a few of them that I had in mind. I think the one that I really liked, which came for moment of the night, was the shoulder check block.
That was a smart move. Yeah.
It was like I've never really seen something like that. And I always thought it was really cool. So the shoulder check to Enzo, I thought made my moment of the night. Although I do want to say it was almost between that and the whole and the other moment being the sharpshooter to Triple H by Dean.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be honest. Those two were two of my ideas. Overall, though, for my moment of the night, I had to go with the false free count because although it was only for about 2 or 3 seconds, the crowd went fucking mental thinking Dean had won the championship.
My heart rate went like really up when I thought that. I was like, "Oh
Here's
my god, they might have finally done it." And I was like,
here's the problem.
"Oh,
I made a mistake. I read the results Sunday afternoon, so I knew who had won the matches. I wish to God I hadn't.
yeah,
But here's the thing: the crowd went fucking nuts. It proved that Dean could beat Triple H, which made him
yeah."
look strong.
He looks. It made him look credible. It doesn't make him look like Roman Reigns' lackey. He looks like a guy
Exactly.
who could get the job done.
And that's why it got my moment of the night. So Dean Ambrose was involved in all of my 3 points tonight. I'm afraid.
Just fanboy.
I'm not a fucking fanboy. Believe me, I looked hard for anything else to pick. I almost did pick the sharpshooter as well, and I did think about the tackle, but overall, I thought that was more of a good move than an actual moment
Yeah.
of the night.
Listen, oh god, what if this happens again at WrestleMania?
What happens?
If Dean Ambrose has another moment where we just made him like superstar,
If I
mash
have
him.
to, I have to. That just means no one else is putting on a good show, in my opinion. At least as good a show as Dean.
Yeah.
But that was...
We're gonna get hated so
Yeah.
hard, I'm sure.
Oh,
We're
fuck.
like, God damn it, this show is nothing. This show is just nothing more but a bunch of people riding Dean's cock. Ugh.
I swear I'm not an Ambrose fanboy. Hell, I took a year hiatus because Ambrose and all the others were not good enough for me to... Well, that's pretty incorrectly, but he wasn't good enough back then to keep me around like someone
Well,
like CM
2015
Punk
was just a bad year overall, so
Yeah. He wasn't that good of a person last year. I wasn't that into him last year when he was wrestling. But the last 3 pay-per-views I've been at, this guy looks like a bona fide main eventer. This guy looks like what was his name? Brian Pillman should have been.
that's the thing with Pillman. I think a lot of people believe that had it not been for Pillman's death, and I think the injury he had, I think Pillman probably like in the Attitude Era probably would have been like a main star. Like, I can only imagine like in a '98 instead of having like Mick Foley be the guy working for McMahon as like Dude Love or something. Imagine
Yeah.
if it was Pillman instead. Can you could just imagine how good the matches would have been.
Oh, absolutely. It's just sad he died when he did.
It was really unfortunate that
Mm.
we lost him because Pillman was just the guy was just it was great.
But like I say, that's who he reminds me of. But yeah, that was WWE Roadblock. If you can ever get access to watching it, there are 2 really good matches on the pay-per-view for you to see. So,
Yeah.
but it's time for a quick mini segment that we like to do called the Trivial Challenge.
The 3 questions trivia.
We started this last month. We're basically going to ask each other 3 questions relating to WWE. WWE in particular, we don't do TNA, WCW, or anything like that.
No, just WWE.
As I said, we started this last month. We both got 2 questions correctly, so we're both currently tied.
Yep.
Alright, do you want to go first, or shall I?
Coin toss, I guess.
Have you got a coin handy? Because I haven't.
I better have one handy. No, I don't. Shit.
Give me a second. I've got one on the shelf. One sec.
That's okay. I can quickly just get up a thing and like go to random.org.
Sorry, I've got one. Never mind. Alright, heads or tails?
I'm gonna go with tails.
Tails it is. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll just go first then.
Alright.
Alright,
here we go. Time to test the knowledge.
I have mine listed as easy, medium, and hard. So the easy question is, I chose this because of course he was in the main event, and who was the first opponent to successfully defeat Triple H in a Hell in a Cell match?
All right, let me think.
Because remember, there was a period of time where Triple H went undefeated at Hell in a Cell.
He had more fucking Hell in a Cell matches than the Undertaker did.
Yeah.
I want to say Batista.
Correct. It was Batista in 2005 at the Vengeance pay-per-view.
Oh, by the way, we're working on the honor system here. Neither of us can go online to check the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why I'm going to put my... Well, I can't put my keyboard because my keyboard's all the way over there. But I'm going to put my hands here next to the fucking microphone. I am not moving.
Yeah.
Alright, one to me. Alright, all of these aren't exactly easy, but I wouldn't consider any of them too hard.
Alright.
How many and since you did the Hell in a Cell match thing first, I'll do mine first as well, because I've got a Hell in a Cell related question. How many Hell in a Cell matches were there in 1998?
Oh boy, 1998. I know for a fact there was more than one. I can definitely tell you that because...
You don't have to tell me what the matches were. I've got them written down so I can tell you afterwards. Just how many. One guess.
I am going to go on a limb and say 3.
Fuck! Yes,
because I remember there was the Tornado Tag Team Hell in a Cell.
Yep, between Stone
then there was
Cold and
the
Taker,
Undertaker and Mankind at King of the Ring, the
Correct.
most infamous Hell in a Cell match in history. And then I think there was also one with Mankind and Kane in August.
Fuck, he got every single one right there. I think it might have been a little bit earlier than August, but for the Mankind Kane, I think it was July, I'm not certain. But yeah, in the space of about 3 months max, there was 3 Hell in a Cell matches. But to be honest, 2 of them were pretty much like the Lesnar-Harper thing. They were just segments, really, not actual matches. But they're classified as matches, so they have to be added.
Yeah.
Alright,
anyways,
1-1.
So my next question then, this is a bit medium because this one will go a little bit back when you really think about it, but...
Please don't tell me you're asking me for actual dates and stuff again.
Nope.
Oh, thank God.
Nope. Before John Cena had a 380-day championship reign that ended with an injury in 2007, who was the last wrestler to hold the WWE Championship for over a year? And... I said I wouldn't, but this won't count. It's just for bonus points if you actually get it right. How many days in total?
Alright, so a full year, 365 days.
Yes.
At least.
Yes. And I'll give you a hint. This hasn't happened. The last time this happened was a while back. And another hint was that it was... this person who last held it was was only a couple years ago inducted into the Hall of Fame. Actually, was it last year inducted? No, I don't remember now. I think it was 2 years ago.
No, you shouldn't have told me that because I think I know who it is.
That's fine. Well, I just want to get... I don't want you to think I'm making these really hard for you.
Yeah, it's fine. I was just trying to think. It wasn't Hogan. It was...
I can't remember the year it was now, to be honest.
Yeah, it had to be Randy Savage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Randy Savage. Oh, it was last year. I said 2 years.
Here's the thing. You should never mention that. I was already thinking it was either Hogan or Randy Savage, but I couldn't remember which one.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, sorry about that.
It's alright.
Well.
That's two to me, one to you, and your second question. All right. What? Yeah, what was the first official match that the Shield took part in?
The first official match that the
And by
Shield
that, I
took
don't
part in.
mean NXT. I mean WWE.
Yes, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about, like WWE.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know for the fact they debuted at the Survivor Series pay-per-view with during the Punk, John Cena, and Ryback match. I remember that, but what
Ooh,
I'm
could I
trying to
have called him
remember,
out? This isn't even the hard question, at least as far as I believe. This is only the mediocre one.
yeah, what I'm just trying to remember is what was the match. Wait, I know the match. It was at the next following pay-per-view, TLC.
It was at TLC, but what was the match?
I actually think it was a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
It was, but who was their opponents?
Now, I know Punk was not involved in the match because of injury.
I'll give you
And
that much. Punk was not in the match.
I believe Ryback was in the match.
Yes, but there was two other people.
Two other people. Ooh. Okay.
It was it was a 6-man tag team TLC match.
I want to
Shield.
say the other two were Kane and Daniel Bryan for Team Hell No.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
Fucking damn it! That's correct.
Boy.
It was actually a really fucking good match, actually, as well.
I have to watch it. I'll probably have to rewatch it then.
It was really good. Seth Rollins took a really bad tumble and smacked his head full fucking force on the table.
Ow.
It's actually quite gruesome. I thought he broke his neck, to be honest.
All right. Well,
All right, give him
I
the
guess
hard question. Come on.
I guess that means it's time for the hard question. There hasn't been a WWE pay-per-view to take place in Canada since 2009. What was the event in that same year where the WWE pay-per-view was last in Canada? Like, what was the pay-per-view? And again, bonus points. You don't have to guess it. Where did the pay-per-view take place in Canada?
So basically, which pay-per-view of 2009 took place in Canada?
Yes.
I'm terrible when it comes to things like dates and locations and shit.
Don't worry about the dates or the locations if you can't think of locations. Just all I need is the name of the pay-per-view.
Alright, let me think. 2009. Which WrestleMania was 2009 be?
2009 was WrestleMania 25.
Alright, I just need to know that so I know what we're looking at for like storylines and stuff like that. Alright, it wouldn't have been WrestleMania, obviously. I doubt.
Nope.
It wouldn't have been. I wouldn't be surprised if it was any of the big four.
It was not one of the big four, no.
No, like I said, I would have been surprised if it was.
Do you need a hint of some sorts or no?
Well, let's put it this way: I am not going to know which city it was because
okay, then we won't count. Then we'll just throw the bonus points out away.
Yeah,
from that
I'm never going to get the actual city. If I had to guess for an actual city, I would guess maybe Ontario.
Nope, was not in Ontario.
All right.
Do you still need a hint or?
No, I'm just gonna throw a guess out there. 2009 was Breaking Point still a thing then?
Oh, there you go. It was Breaking
Was
Point.
it? Fucking
It was
damn it.
It was Breaking Point in 2009, it took place in Montreal.
Montreal. That would have been my second guess actually, but never mind. I am
Yeah,
amazed
and
I got that.
so yeah, and I forgot to mention the bonus points like for the last one for Randy Savage. He held the title for 371 days.
I would never have gotten the actual amount of
Yeah,
days.
okay, that's fine.
I'd
But there
have
you go. Yeah,
gotten close, but not thinking. I'm amazed I got that. 3 for fucking 3. I've only got one wrong overall in 6.
well, how about that shit?
But to be honest, this one you're probably going to get because it's not that difficult, I don't think. Alright, your final question. Let's see if I can actually get a lead on you. Alright, back in 2002, during the first draft pick, on Raw they showed...
2002 draft pick, right?
Right, between Vince McMahon and Ric Flair. They picked 10 different superstars for both shows, so 20 people got picked overall. Out of the 20, only one woman was picked. Which woman was it?
Oh god, I have a feeling.
Have a think about it.
I have a feeling I know which one you're talking about. I swear to God, I think I
She
know.
was the last person picked for Raw, like number 10, and then they did all the other draft
Was
picks
it
on the.
for? I know Raw got the last pick for the 10th pick. What? Right?
Yes, because
I am
Vince and
going to
SmackDown got.
say it was Lita.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Fucking damn it!
I actually remember that
I
because
honestly thought that would catch you out because it's just a random piece of trivia.
you do come up with some pretty interesting questions. I kind of almost want to make this like its own thing on the show on the channel.
We
Like we
could
just
maybe extend it to like 5 questions or something.
we don't have to always just wait till the pay-per-view to do these. We could just every now and then just make like a trivia thing and see where we go.
Well, we'll have a think about it. But Jesus Christ, we're now
Because
five.
I'll put it this way. I actually really like doing this segment, so that's why I
Yeah, it
mentioned
is
that.
fun to do. But yeah, we're now 5 for 5. We've both only ever got one question each wrong for this.
Yeah. And I swear to God that the question you gave me the last time for the last one, man,
Well,
you
wait a minute.
you
I've got the note sheet. I think on the.
you did it was who are the people in like the first WrestleMania match ever?
Yeah, that was it. I remember it was. I actually can't. Was it? I forgot myself who it was. It was the Executioner and
I have to look this up now because I don't even remember anymore.
Pedro Morales and the
The
Executioner. I think.
Executioner, I think. Yeah, I think that was right. Oh my God. No, it was Tito Santana
Oh,
and the
Tito
Executioner.
Santana. I knew it was
It
one of
was
the
the
older
Tito
guys.
Santana one I believe I had gotten. I think it was the Executioner that threw me off because I
Yeah,
didn't not
I remember
remember that.
saying that there was no way you'd get that if you've not seen the pay per view or if you've not seen
Yeah,
it in
anyway,
years.
but yeah, anyways.
All right, that was a trivia question. That actually took a good 10 minutes, I think.
I still want to do more of these.
Hey, we
But
can always do it more.
maybe another time.
All right. Anything to do before we do the whole WrestleMania thing?
Do you have any money so I can get some food? No.
No, sorry.
No, I'm just anyways, but yeah, I don't have anything else.
All
I'll
right.
grab my voice.
Yeah, what's happened to your voice?
I don't know. I just kind of had a sudden moment where it broke up, but that's okay
Um,
now. I'm all right.
Do you want to just stop for a second, just take a quick drink or something?
That'd probably be a good idea. I still have a
I'll
bit
just
of
pause
water.
the thing for a second. Back from that short break there, guys. Sorry about that, but we both had a couple of things we needed to do.
We just had to get our bearings first.
Yeah,
But
I had to go
there's some
take I had to
exciting
go
action.
take a
Except you didn't.
long piss, and he had to take a phone call.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah,
we were talking about our build for Mania next.
we were.
Well, Roadblock was pretty much a out of the blue pay per view, and we've had some build up already for Mania. Obviously, uh, let's talk about the Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha match first, because there's only 4 matches been announced for the pay per view so far.
Yep. Yep.
The only build up I've actually seen live for this was during the the Becky Lynch Charlotte match at Rumble, and then Sasha came down and pretty much returned and interfered and pretty much set up this triple threat match. I'm guessing there's been a lot more build up though for it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the match I personally believe will be probably one of the better women's matches you'll see because all three of them in the ring are fantastic workers. They're very good at what they do.
Aren't they three of the 4 horsewomen apart from Bailey?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought
pretty
so.
much. Bailey's the only one who's not part of the main roster because she's still with NXT because she's still the NXT Women's Champion.
I still need to watch that Bailey.
You do
Sasha Banks,
it's
Iron Man
Bailey.
match.
Like the two really good women on NXT are Bailey and there's also Asuka. Like the Japanese wrestler Asuka, she's fantastic.
I'll get more to that, but I will eventually watch these two Sasha Banks Bailey matches. I promise I will. I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah, I know. In fact, actually, the NXT Takeover Dallas match that happens a couple days before WrestleMania, Bailey and Asuka is the match for the women's championship.
Just a one-on-one.
Yep, one-on-one singles match. There's also, and then you don't know much about NXT, so I won't go into it unless you want me to, real quick.
You can go into it, but I was thinking, what do you think for the entire, for the WrestleMania thing? Do you want to just do WrestleMania, or do you want to do NXT and the Hall of Fame as well?
I meant, I think the Hall of Fame. Was there anything else to mention about it?
No, I mean when they actually should we like just talk about the Hall of Fame when it comes up and
Oh
actually
yeah, I
watch the
mean,
entire thing, or
we'll see. I mean, I'll probably watch all three things if I can. That is, it
well,
just depends on.
tell you what, just focus on taking notes for WrestleMania, but we'll both watch all three, and
Well, I'm gonna be probably taking a lot of notes simply because it's WrestleMania.
yeah, that's what I mean. We're going to be taking a lot of notes for WrestleMania anyway, but we'll also talk about the NXT Takeover and the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
It's
anyways,
WrestleMania after all.
but yeah, I do think Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha will be a very interesting match, and
I've never seen Sasha wrestle, so I am actually really
oh,
looking forward to
she's fun.
this.
She's a great. Wait, didn't I thought you saw Fastlane
She,
when she wrestled
oh, she
her and
did
Becky?
wrestle, didn't she?
Yeah,
Here's
her
the
and
thing.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah, here's the thing. They were up against who was it? Tamina and
Naomi.
Naomi. So I don't really consider that a proper match for her.
Naomi's a good wrestler. She can't
Ugh.
like Naomi is can be very capable. Tamina is.
I think she's too much of the divas type wrestler instead of an actual wrestler.
Yeah, but I think that match between the three of them will be very good. I very highly suspect Sasha will be the one who wins the
You're
championship.
expecting
But I would
Sasha to
let, but
win.
I mean, yeah, I expect. My prediction is that they'll probably give it to Sasha, but it would be really interesting to see if they actually gave it to Becky.
I'm gonna go with my prediction for this. So you're saying your prediction for this match is Sasha Banks winning?
Yes, because I
I
think that's the obvious case of what
Yeah,
they're
I'm
probably
gonna
going to do.
actually say I think Becky will win the match because she's the one that they've been building up for the championship with Charlotte recently. I think Becky will win it. Sasha will get jealous and she'll turn full heel, and it'll be Becky versus Sasha.
Well, Sasha was already a heel
Well,
beforehand, and
she's
they've
been
been
more of a
building her up as a
tweener.
face.
She's been
Yeah, I think personally though they're probably going to make her become a face, and I don't know, but we'll see.
again.
We'll
I'm
see.
going off like 2.5 months of knowledge here, so I'm just taking my best educated guess with what I've
Yeah,
got.
that's fine. But anyways, so that's our predictions, I guess, for that
Becky
one.
for me, Sasha for you.
Yep.
Anyway, next match of the four I've got here: Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in the No Holds
Balls?
Barred Street
No
Fight.
holds balled.
No Holds Barred Street Fight.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there was no interference from Brock in the Triple H Dean match, to be honest, because it's like all the actual rivalries currently going on were kind of just put on hold for this one night here at Roadblock. It's like, oh, WrestleMania's coming up. I've got this blood feud going with you, but you know what? I'm just gonna take the night off and beat up the Wyatts, and you can take the night off and go beat up Triple H.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like they could just work like a thing where it's like Lesnar has unfinished business with Wyatt, and Ambrose has unfinished business with Triple H, and they could just they could just have the match, but then decide, screw, who really needs to go over here? Because we both have other fish to fry. But here's
Here's
something that I think they could do. Like Lesnar could probably go into it as a regular match, as a match, and normally do the match. But here's the thing with Ambrose: this is a no holds barred match. Now,
exactly.
Ambrose was actually from CZW for a couple of years, which is
I haven't
Insanity Pro
watched it,
Wrestling
but I'm aware
IPW,
of that. Yeah.
which basically over the top extreme, like more extreme than ECW, like just ridiculous wrestling. And when he was like, he's already known as the lunatic fringe as a Ambrose, but when he was John Moxley in CZW, he was insanely crazy. He was just off the hook. Like he was like more unstable than he is now. It was incredible just how over the top he was. Like it was wow. And but and honestly, I think because it's no holds barred, it may be a match where we actually see him perform something like that, which would be pretty cool if that happens. But we'll see when that happens, I suppose.
I think the
And
actual build up for the match has been pretty decent, though. Dean actually coming out showing no fear.
But yeah, but the thing is, I think here's my realistic approach of what they're gonna do. They'll probably have the match, but you know what I think will happen because of the whole thing they're building up with Lesnar and Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, interference.
I think Bray Wyatt is gonna interfere, cost Lesnar like the match in a way, and basically Ambrose wins.
That's the
And
only way I can see Ambrose winning.
they may add a stipulation too, because the whole Ambrose be like, "I beat you, Hunter," or Triple H or whatever. And what they may just do is they'll be like, I should be facing you in the main event," and there could be a stipulation where if he beats Brock Lesnar, he'll be added to the main event.
I don't see that personally, but
Me neither, but you know,
it's good to dream.
yeah, it is.
But the actual build-up's been fairly decent, but you know, Dean took a bit of a beat down, but you know, he said thank you for it and all that. I remember that happening.
Yeah. So I think Ambrose realistically will go over. It won't be a clean finish. I very highly doubt it will be because it's Brock Lesnar. But
I'm gonna be honest.
You never know.
You're going with Dean. I'm actually gonna go against you again here. Here's the thing: why I love the idea of the Whites interfering, and somehow Dean gets the win because of that. You know, not because he's turning heel or anything. The last thing I want is for Dean Ambrose to turn heel.
Yeah. He's too popular in my opinion to turn heel.
Yeah, everyone says, "Oh, the internet just wants everyone to turn heel." No, I don't. I want fucking Dean to stay face. Thank you very much.
If anyone who should be going heel, it should be Reigns.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only way I can see Dean Ambrose legitimately winning this match. But unfortunately, that's too smart of booking, in my opinion, for WWE. So I'm actually going to say Lesnar goes over clean. He's going to take one hell of a beatdown, but Lesnar goes over.
Yeah. It would probably piss people off, though, because just with Reigns and Triple H, like, people would instantly get behind Triple H to want him to retain, like, instantly.
Here's the thing.
And it's Dallas, Texas.
I know. Here's the thing. Dean proved tonight, Roadblock, sorry, you don't need to win to look strong. Technically, he had that false finish for the free, but he was a fucking champ in that match. You know, you don't have to win all the time to be, one of the big guys. And, I think he's going to give Brock Lesnar a hell of a beating because it's a street fight. So I'm not too fussed about him not winning this match.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've both differed on both matches so far.
That's interesting. I do like that though. I like how we have like conflicting viewpoints, I guess. Yeah. Like you're taking what's probably going to be a realistic approach, and I'm taking what would make sense.
Yeah. All right, the third match we've got is the Hell in a Cell match between Shane McMahon, Simba, and Taker.
As much as I want Shane to win, I believe The Undertaker is going to win this one.
If this had been any other pay-per-view of the year, I would have said Shane would have won. By hook or by crook, he would have found a way to win.
Yeah.
But it's WrestleMania, and Taker's already had his streak broken. I don't think anyone else is going to blemish that record other than Brock Lesnar. I can't see... I don't know, because here's the thing, I doubt they'd bring Shane back just for this one-off.
There's rumors that he was only brought back for the WrestleMania thing, and I'm having a hard time believing that.
I know, same. I find it so hard to believe that they would make up enough for him to come back like this just for a month build-up in a match at Mania.
And then have him be gone. There has to be something to it. That's the way I see it.
Here's the thing, though. I could also see him actually doing what he's setting out to do and taking control of Raw, but it's against Taker at WrestleMania. This is so fucking difficult because it goes against every sense in my mind, but ever since Taker took that fucking loss to Lesnar, it's opened up the gap of it's a possibility even more.
Pretty much.
But just to clarify, Shane McMahon coming back was a fucking mark-out moment like there hasn't been in a while. But apart from that, the build-up for this match has been total fucking shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
But overall, for my prediction, I'm going for Taker. I have to go for Taker.
Yeah, I that's how I see it. And I'm really hoping this isn't just something that turns out to be, it's just gonna be an occasional thing. If it was a temporary reason he'd be there, there's no reason they would build it up the way they have.
Yeah, But what do you think the big moment's going to be for Shane in that match?
Oh, he's probably gonna do something incredibly like
Yeah, that's
death-defying. Like
exactly what I
he's.
mean. What do you think he's actually going to do?
Oh God, I don't know. There's so many things
Here's
he
the
could
guy. Here's
do.
the thing. The guy is not the best wrestler, but fuck me, he's one of the best entertainers in that ring. The guy would
He,
break his fucking back to
he.
entertain the
I'll
audience.
put it this way. Out of everyone that's on the roster, Shane McMahon has the biggest balls.
Oh, without question. The guy will do practically anything. In fact, not even just that, he can put on good matches. Go watch his fucking match with Kurt Angle at King of the Ring 2001.
He nearly got killed in that
I
match.
know,
And
fuck me, that was an amazing match, though.
yeah, like literally, he nearly got killed. Like he was trying to get sent through the pane of glass, and it didn't break the first time, and he landed on his head.
No, 2 times he didn't go through it.
I think it was only 2 times.
No,
it was only once.
no, it was the second time when he was coming through the... Because he did the first plate of glass, and then he tried to throw him through a second plate of glass from the other side. He threw him at it 2 times, and he didn't break through, so Kurt... With his belly-to-belly suplex, I think. So Kurt
That's
Angle
what I
just
was
got his
referring to.
head and rammed it through the thing. He couldn't belly-to-belly him through it, so he said fuck it and just threw him through the thing. Seriously though, you never seen that match? Go watch that match. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm definitely rewatching that
build
match
up
again.
for Taker. Shane's been absolute garbage, but I think the match will be entertaining but not good, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, only one more match set for WrestleMania, and sadly, it's the main event: Triple H versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship.
That's
My
what I
sentiments.
think.
Here's the thing: Triple H is a good wrestler, but
But he cannot. Triple H is a good wrestler, but I cannot see him being able to carry Roman Reigns in the
no.
match.
Here's the thing: Triple H does not have a great run of WrestleMania matches either. He had the main event against Randy Orton back at 25, which wasn't a terrible match, but he wasn't anything outstanding. His match at WrestleMania 18 with Chris Jericho again wasn't anything outstanding.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with that match, though, with the match he did with Orton. If they did not add the whole stipulation where if Triple H got disqualified, he'd lose the title.
I
If they
know.
just made it like a no disqualification match, it would have been a much better
And
match.
apparently that happened right at the last minute, if that documentary I watched was correct.
Yeah, it was like a last minute stipulation, and I remember Triple H saying that it really ruined the flow of the match, especially because it came after
The Taker
the
and
Shawn Michaels
match.
and Undertaker match, which is
The godly match.
seriously, if you're ever trying to get into wrestling, like as a fan, you need to watch that WrestleMania 25 match with Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker. It's one of the closest things you'll ever get to a. It's pretty much one of the closest things you will ever get to a perfect match.
Absolutely. That's still one of my all-time favorite matches, and that's actually been 7 years now, almost.
To think about it, yeah, 7 years.
Fucking. Here's the thing: that WrestleMania wasn't all that good either. It was just that one match.
It was
perfect.
it was mostly an WrestleMania, but
Yeah.
that match was just that was
Amazing.
like the best match.
It was
by
so
far.
good
Like,
they did it a second time the next year in the actual
Yeah.
main event
yeah, like
where it
they
belonged.
realized. Yeah, like they realized how much it worked the first time around that they kind of knew that the second time around they kind of had to make it the final
Yeah.
match.
Well, it was also HBK's retirement match as well, so.
That too.
But anyway, we've gone off topic here. We've got Triple H Reigns in the main event, and here's the thing: Reigns hasn't. There's been practically no build-up because Reigns has been away with a broken nose or something for the last couple of weeks.
Quote unquote.
I don't really care, and quite honestly, the build-up before that was Reigns beat up Triple H at wherever it was. He cost him the title, I believe. Triple H came back and cost Reigns the championship at Royal Rumble. Triple H then beat Reigns down, I believe, and that's pretty much been it. Here's the thing. I hear a lot that people say Reigns would be good if he was just the ass-kicker character. That won't work in this day and age. You need to be able to at least talk somewhat on the microphone as well, and Reigns just doesn't have it.
Yeah, and the thing too is the fact that he's being booked so badly because like I don't understand Vince's mentality to make him like the next John Cena. He shouldn't be the next anything. He needs to be the first Roman Reigns.
Here's
But
the
Vince
thing,
does. But Vince wants to make him the next John Cena,
Here-
and that makes him look so outdated because of it.
Here's the thing, though. The first Roman Reigns, it doesn't matter what he is. It doesn't even matter that they're trying to make him the next John Cena. This guy is not going to make you the same amount of money as John Cena did. John Cena, for all his drawbacks, he clicks with the crowd.
Yeah.
He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to pander to the kids. You know, obviously they're going to buy the merchandise and all that shit.
Here's the
Reigns
thing with
doesn't
them.
have that. Reigns doesn't have that ability to connect with the crowd. Even, you know, the younger kids. Even when he was doing that fucking stupid sucker and succotash son shit about a year ago, it wasn't getting him. It wasn't getting him over with the younger audience.
No. Here's like the thing too. Is like, you know what this push what they're giving to Rings reminds me of?
I could probably think of quite a few things, but which one?
His push right now reminds me of the push they were giving to Bobby Lashley in 2007.
Here's the thing, though. Bobby Lashley was actually a decent in-ring wrestler.
Yeah, that's the difference. Like, Lashley was a good wrestler for his size, but the thing is that they're pushing him kind of almost the same way. Like, they're trying to give him any reason to make him look strong.
And people, you know, did not like Bobby Lashley. I mean, when he won that championship in the Elimination Chamber at December to Dismember, people were fucking booing.
Yeah.
And he was the good guy. People were cheering for Big Show over Bobby Lashley.
And here's the thing about that match, too. Like, that whole pay-per-view was... Oh, God, that was horrible pay-per-view.
They had that one chance to make the Elimination Chamber... Well, the match between the Hardys and I think it was Eminem... that was actually a decent match, but it wasn't anything special. But the Elimination Chamber match there was Rob Van Dam, originally Sabu, but he got replaced. Big Show, Test, Bobby Lashley, and who was the other guy?
CM Punk.
CM Punk. And I think CM Punk was the first guy eliminated.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Heyman was really pushing to Vince. He wanted CM Punk to win the Chamber match.
I know.
And it's almost but Vince shut the door and was kind of like yelling at him because he wanted it. Like we're focusing on Bobby Lashley and no one else.
I know, so fucking stupid.
And basically,
Vince is so
and it's like
tunnel vision.
And him getting eliminated first, I always thought was a way to basically give it like a big fuck you to Heyman.
Here's the thing. Obviously, they removed Sabu. I don't know if he was injured or he had problems or they just wanted
He was replaced with Hardcore Holly.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if they just wanted 4 heels and 2 faces or if they wanted, or if he was actually legitimately injured before the match. They got rid of CM Punk first. Rob Van Dam was not one of the last 2 or 3. He got eliminated second or third.
Yeah. So look how off topic we're getting again.
Yeah, we are getting... But we're just basically talking about bad decision-making by WWE and their insistence on pushing people who the crowd do not want them to push, and it doesn't matter how you respond.
That's why I compared Roman Reigns' push to Bobby Lashley's push. Sure, Lashley was a better wrestler, but fans didn't want him to be the guy.
He had no fucking character to him, and plus he was...
Oh.
Here's the problem with this. In this day and age, you know, the fans know who it is the company want as their face, which means they're automatically going to have a harder time getting over.
Yeah.
It doesn't help when the guy you're trying to get over has very limited talent in the ring.
I mean, he's not as green as he used to be, but he's still...
It's not even
He still hasn't proven himself that he can be a great wrestler.
The guy hasn't changed since his fucking Shield days. He's gotten better, but he's got no change in his character. He's not even got a fucking change in his attire, for crying out loud.
No, he still has the Shield music. He still comes out through the audience. He still wears the same kind of attire. It's like he can't get on with the times, and that's probably where some of the heat from him stems from.
Right.
Is the fact that he looks exactly the same like he did when he was with the Shield.
Exactly right. Tonight on Raw, I suppose, because I read this while we were taking our break earlier. Tonight on Raw, Roman Reigns is supposed to be making his return. There is a chance he will get the welcome back pop. You know, but I'm not going to discourage it.
I'm not really expecting it.
That might happen. I'm not going to deny it. It generally tends to happen when someone's gone. And, you know, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, which is what WWE are hoping for. The problem is you still got 3 weeks till WrestleMania. That welcome back pop is not going to last till Mania.
Nope. if it even happens, to
If
be
it even
honest.
happens. I'm expecting it to happen because it does happen a lot. I don't
Yeah.
know if 3 or 4 weeks off, whatever he's been off, is long enough for a comeback pop, but I think it will happen. Probably not as loud as they're going to expect, but like I said, that welcome back pop is not going to last 3 fucking weeks. People will very quickly remember, alright, this is the guy we can't stand.
Yeah. And yet the company wants us to like him, and it's like, just, Vince just doesn't get it. The fans are what helps make the company. Like they're what keeps the company afloat, but all he cares about is we could probably profit off this guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're not gonna get the same kind of profits you got with Cena or Rock or Austin.
The guy just
With
doesn't have that connection with the crowd and the audience that he's trying to pander to. He doesn't have the kids behind him for the most part. This guy is not going to sell the same amount of merchandise as John Cena did.
Nope.
For all Cena, as I said, for all Cena's drawbacks, he was good at pandering to his audience.
Yep.
He knew how to work the crowd.
And as much as I don't want to say it, they're probably gonna make him win at WrestleMania.
I will be shocked if they pull a swerve like they did last year. I will be shocked.
Yeah, it just seems like they're like Vince is gonna be like we're gonna make him champion no matter what, and it's like,
You know what? Fuck what you people want. I want this. It's gonna happen.
and that's the thing too. It's like it feels like why get so dedicated? Why get so intrigued into watching the product when basically where it's supposed to seem like the fans matter, where the real truth is that it's whatever he wants because he thinks what he believes in is what the fans want, when really that's far from the case, the farthest it's ever been in years.
Here's the thing: we were in the same position last year. Not Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns was going to WrestleMania to take on Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Until the very last minutes, it was set for Reigns to win the title. Until they changed it to Rollins cashing in and interfering in the match, because they knew Reigns was not over. The whole thing with Daniel Bryan getting fucked over and Reigns win the Royal Rumble, which I think raised a lot of black flags for them, whatever you want to call it. So I think they were willing to give it one more year and to build Roman up. But over the past year, he has not connected with the audience practically at all. He had one good night of booking late last year, and that was it.
Yeah, he comes off as like the golden boy, really. Like the thing is, like they're thinking, oh, he's got Samoan relations. He's like The Rock, even though they're not technically related.
And like I say, they've had a year to build him up. One good night, and that was all. That was all wiped away within the next 24 hours.
I mean,
anyway,
yes, Roman Reigns is technically part of the Anoa'i family, but they're not. But him and The Rock are not technically what they like to label them as.
Well, The Rock's one of the most charismatic people on the planet. At the end of the day, I think they just wanted to make it look like that so they could try. Well, hell, they did at the Rumble last year. They had Rock come out try to help fucking Reigns, and then that went against what they expected because the crowd started fucking booing The Rock.
Yeah. That's just how bad it is. Like, I swear to God, like, and considering the fact that they're going into Texas, here's the thing I worry about. The fact that they're in Texas, if they have Reigns win,
it could be worse. It could be back in fucking Chicago or even Canada or something.
it could be potentially bad enough to start a riot.
I don't know if it'll go that far, but
Could be. That's why I say could be.
Let's put it this way, there will not be an outstanding amount of cheers or anything for Reigns. He will get booed out the fucking building. But that brings us to our thing: who is going over in this match?
Like I said, they're probably gonna do Reigns no matter what. But if it gets bad enough, then. But if it's seriously bad enough, then they'll probably finally be like, we have to make Triple H retain in some way. Either that, or we just we somehow
do you think
work out of our.
Do you think there'll be any chance whatsoever that Rollins will come back and interfere again? Not to actually win the match, but to help Triple H win.
I want to say yes, but sadly, I think it's not gonna happen.
I don't know about you. I unfortunately, there are a couple scenarios that could play out, but I think they're going to stick to their guns and they're going to give the match to give the WrestleMania moment to Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to basically bury their head in the sand, pretend the audience aren't booing, and just do what it is they want to do this time.
Yeah, man, we've been ranting about this so much, but it's like they don't learn. They don't learn.
And this, ironically, ladies and gentlemen, was meant to be a short episode. It's now almost tied for our longest episode.
And it was for Roadblock of all
It's fucking
things.
Roadblock, and then we did like 10 minutes of the trivia game, and we were just talking about the fucking WrestleMania build-up for the last 20-30 minutes.
And just ranting on Roman Reigns for what felt like 20 minutes.
Here's the thing, Reigns wasn't even at Roadblock, we still get fucking pissed off at him. I feel bad about...
What can you say, though? I guess when our minds really conjure up, we just start going off.
Here's the thing,
like
I
that.
wouldn't mind Reigns if he was just in the mid-card or something, but they're fucking pushing him to the moon.
That's the thing. I think it would have worked a lot better if they just slowly built Reigns up rather than giving it to him right away. Because the thing is, if you slowly built up to him, then it would at least make it seem like his climb was more believable.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? When he was in the Shield, him and Rollins had the tag team championships for a while. Fair enough.
Yes.
That's a good start. And then when the Shield broke up, you know, he went on a quick singles run. He had the match with Orton, if I remember, but he got injured and he was off for about 6-7 months, if I recall.
Yes.
Then he came back, and that's when he won the Rumble, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. They were just trying to, I think they were trying to cash off on the fact that, oh man, this guy eliminated 12 people last year, more than anyone else.
And the only reason he got popped towards the end is because people didn't want Batista in the main event.
Yeah, like he was the lesser of two evils,
Yeah.
basically.
At the time, I think people liked Reigns, though, because he was still a part of the Shield, so his drawbacks weren't as obvious.
Yeah, he wasn't like the poster boy during that time.
Well, exactly, so people
Now
still
he
did
is.
like Reigns back then, but not now.
Mm-hmm.
But we probably should end this off before we go on in another fucking Reigns tangent.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Yeah, I've only got like 10 minutes left anyway, but next time we meet will be for episode 4, WrestleMania 32.
Oh boy.
We will also be taking a look at NXT TakeOver and the Hall of Fame. Don't know if there'll be anything really to talk about there, but we'll definitely watch it and have a look.
Here's like the thing too, is like we originally planned when we started this, we were gonna do like 3 episodes to see if it worked out.
Just to see like 3 episode pilots instead of just 1 pilot.
So yeah.
We've already
Would
done
you consider the WrestleMania a 4th pilot, or is this where we decide, yeah, we should do this?
No, I would definitely still consider WrestleMania the final pilot, because that was going to be what it was originally anyway. We only decided to do this because it's technically a special on the network, but it's also a mini pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Anyways.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe we'll do some extra stuff because Thunder really wants to do more of the trivia challenge.
Oh, definitely. I want it to be like a little thing we do.
Maybe we can still do the 3 per episode, but we'll do like a mini game show type thing or something every so often.
Yeah.
We'll see. You know, we've got plenty of time to figure something like that out. But this has been episode 3. We have been Turbo and Thunder. This has been the Press Circle of the Pin podcast. And hey, everybody, hope you have a good night.
I need to lie down because my voice can probably speak for itself in some ways. I don't know.
Good night.
Good night.